Well, I'll choose one from the chat to win the Chasing Kids and Dreams t-shirt from the Rainmaker family. All right, here we go. I'm going to do it in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to open my eyes. First one I see. Oh, wow, it goes really fast. I saw it was like something about 5. Okay, Brooke Collier. Brooke Collar. Brooke Collar, you got it. You and your 5 kids. Well, maybe just you, okay? Just you. You got the t-shirt. So claim that, Brooke, at the rainmakerchallenge.com/winner. You got that one. Nice. Man, people are still coming in from the waiting room. This is pretty wild, but we're going to hop into the training because we got no time to waste. This is a 90-minute workshop, you guys, 90-minute workshop. And so make sure you got the time blocked off because this is a workshop that literally you can start with nothing and you can end with something. You can end with something powerful, something that is going to make your family income. And so, like I said earlier, this is a paid workshop in the future. Okay, we're gonna charge for this workshop for actually the recording that we're about to create with you. So if you're here live, we call this freemium, right? You get it free if you're here live, but it is a premium workshop that people will pay for later on. So if you're here live or you're watching the replay within the next handful of days after this workshop, first of all, congratulations. You're an early bird, you get in free, and you get the same like benefits that someone paying for this workshop is going to get. And so get excited. And with that being said, we're going to officially start the workshop. You guys ready? Drop it in the chat. We would love to hear from you in the chat during this. Rachel and Dustin are going to be mainly the teachers during this because they've really pioneered this method. But I'm here watching the chat and I'm writing down questions from the chat so that we can do questions and answers and make this interactive as we go. All right, you guys ready? Okay. So I just have to like pause the recording, start the recording, and get like a nice clean intro to our paid workshop that you guys are getting free access to because you're early on here in the game. All right. So just give me 1 second and we're going to jump right in. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Vince. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Meta Side Hustle Workshop. It's a 90-minute workshop to create another source of income for your family. We have a community of tons of families that are pioneering new methods of making money online. And this is one of those methods we're seeing working so well. And we have a couple members of our community who've really gone deep on this method, who've really pioneered this method. They fought for this method because this method is so early, it is a little bit like the Wild West sometimes, but having a map that helps you get through that Wild West, we've seen incredible results. And so the title of this workshop, I just wrote it down here, is the Meta Side Hustle, a 3-step proven method families are using right now to make an extra $1,347 per month with just a Facebook account and a Wi-Fi connection, even if you've never sold online. Okay. So if you're here, you're in the right place. For the next 90 minutes, we're going to show you how to set this up. And the goal is you end this workshop with a roadmap, with actually something set up, with actually your business launched. So you can follow this workshop. I would recommend getting notes. Okay. I was just talking to another group, training group that we have. I was like, we came from like an auditory culture where people just pass stuff down like with stories and verbal, and like people's memory was just so much better when it came to recalling information they were just hearing, because that was the culture back in the day before people were writing. But now we get bombarded with messages day after day after day. And in one day in 2022, you will get more advertisements and more messaging than someone 100 years ago got in their entire lifetime. And that's wild. So what I would encourage you to do during this time so that you can see the results with this workshop in your life and in your bank account is you get a piece of paper, you take notes, okay? Get a piece of paper and you take notes, because there's something about that physical action of writing while we're going through this that's going to really help you retain this information, to take action on it, and then see the results that we're known for. So let us know in the chat if you have your pen and paper ready to go and you're ready to rock. So this is the Meta Side Hustle. And with that, I would like to introduce our trainers for this workshop, Rachel and Dustin. Welcome, Rachel and Dustin.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. So excited to be here.
Yes, we are so excited to have you too. And the registrations for this thing is going crazy. Tell us like the backstory here. Just give us like a 5-minute backstory of just like, how did you get into this thing? How has it been going for you guys? And where are we at now?
Yeah, so we started dropshipping on Facebook about 2 years ago. And we started because we were at a place in our life where we just needed to make additional income. And so it really just started with me, and I was just plugging away at it, working like till 2 a.m. Dustin's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm fulfilling orders. And it was really just a very simple copy and paste business model. And what happened was within 4 months, we generated over $100,000 through that little side hustle. And it was so crazy, and it kept growing to the point that a few months after that, Dustin actually quit his full-time job because I was making more money doing Facebook drop shipping than he was at his full-time 9-to-5 job. And whenever he quit his full-time job, we just like both went all in on it. And that was back in 2020. So it's almost been now an entire full year of really this being our full-time job. How we've supported our family. We've had the flexibility to travel all over America because we can work from anywhere doing this business model.
Wow. And I remember when like I first heard of this, because we're both in the Rainmaker community at the time. And this started kind of like coming down the pipeline, right? Of like, this could be a new opportunity. Like this thing came down. And at first I feel like I had an objection to it because I was like, this sounds like drop shipping, right? And like, drop shipping, I feel like gets a bad name a little bit. So I would love for you guys to dig in, like kind of just give an overview, like what is this opportunity and how is it really different from traditional drop shipping, from even Amazon, which is something that we mainly teach? Like what makes this really stand out? And why did you guys feel that like faith to go like, oh man, we're going to lean into this thing?
Yeah. So we're going to share our screen here. And like Stephen said, this is a workshop. So get your notes ready, and we're just going to walk you through this, show you what we have done to get to the place where we've been able to make it our full-time side hustle. So we're going to get right into it and get started.
All right. So the Meta side hustle. E-commerce has been blowing up over the last decade. I don't know if you guys are aware, but today we're at over $5.4 trillion in revenue on e-commerce. And even with the economy right now, it's only predicted to grow. So there's a lot of potential here with this. Now, when we talk about e-commerce, there's a lot of different ways you can get into it, right? There's a lot of ways that you can start selling stuff. But the problem is it usually takes a bit of an investment to start, right? So you might be like, I don't have a product. I don't have anything to sell. How am I going to do that? And to get into that, it usually involves some upfront investment, right? So the concept of drop shipping, and Stephen said it so well, like drop shipping tends to get a little bit of a bad rap, and for very good reason. I'm going to explain why in just a second here, but I'll give you like the quick overview, like what is drop shipping, right? So what drop shipping is you've got a supplier. So that's the guy on the left. He's got a package, right? And then you've got a customer, this person on the right. Suppliers are not always able to connect with the right customers. So what we do is we come in the middle and we basically just blast out there, hey, the supplier has this awesome product you're looking for. The customer then buys it from us. We buy it from the supplier. Supplier ships it to the customer. And at the end of the day, everybody's happy, right? We help the supplier, we help the customer, and obviously we helped ourselves, right? So that's the basic structure of how drop shipping works.
And the reason people usually get a bad rap when it comes to like drop shipping, sometimes the word scammer is affiliated with drop shipper because they think you're like scamming them out of a product, because there are a lot of unsafe like websites that are like drop shipping websites where they actually don't ever send the customer the product. But what you're doing is essentially like you're being a billboard for a different company. You are promoting a product, and in exchange for that, you get compensation because you are increasing the price. You're adding value to the customer because you're shipping it directly to them. They're getting the product. They're paying what you advertised. And everyone, like Dustin said, is happy because everyone gets what they want.
Right. And it's 100% hands off for you in the fact that you're not having to have products at your house. You don't have to put things in boxes and ship them. It's just you're pushing buttons on your computer and making money. So that's why we love it so much.
Yeah, you're really leveraging the internet like that hat. I work for the internet. You're leveraging the power of the internet, how you can be the middleman and connect all the dots and get paid to do that.
Yeah. All right. So what if you wanted to do this on your own? Let's say you were going to go build a website and like, I'm going to go advertise people's products and do this on my own, right? Well, if you were to get started in that way, the cost just to get paid is going to be about 3.5%. It could be a little less, could be a little bit more. But that's just going to be like credit card processing fees and things like that in order for your customer to pay you 3.5%. We also have the cost of traffic, because obviously if you're advertising something, you're going to have to pay for those advertisements, right? And so this is one big thing with this business model that most people overlook. The average cost of advertising for a business online today is 13% or more. So if we do a little bit of math here, 3.5% plus 13% equals 16.5%. So what does that mean? That means on day one, before you even sold a thing, you can already expect that 16.5% of your business is already gone. So let's take a look at traditional dropshipping. Why does traditional dropshipping get a bad rap? Traditional dropshipping, the way it works is typically a dropshipper will find products that are coming from China. So they'll get on AliExpress or Alibaba or something like that. They'll find products and they'll advertise those products here in the United States. When a customer purchases, they go and order it on those websites. They have it shipped to their customer directly here in the US, and it can take a month or more for those products to arrive.
And not only that, a lot of times with this business model and why people have had a bad connotation with the word dropshipper is those orders can easily get lost. Maybe the supplier in China never shipped them out. There's just a lot of risk involved.
Right. Yeah. So there's lots of issues. You're getting typically cheap products from China because you're trying to find things that are like cheap enough to be able to mark it up and still be competitive. Slow delivery. Items often come damaged. You get angry customers, and it's really just not a good long-term business because you're just, passing that through, and you're not able to build a brand or do anything that is established or even a company that could be worth selling someday, right? So what about USA dropshipping? Maybe you've had a little bit of a better experience with dropshipping. Maybe the supplier did source from the United States, found a US warehouse, got it for a decent price, shipped it. But even in that case, it's most common for it to take 2 weeks for that product to arrive at the customer. Now, 2 weeks isn't terrible, but here's the thing, guys. We live in America and everyone loves Amazon. Amazon is like the expectation today, right?
I don't know about you guys, but like if Amazon takes 3 days to get my order to me, I'm like, where's my order?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting scammed.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I ordered something last night and it just showed up today. I'm like, that's the Amazon that I pay for.
Yeah, exactly. So customers have this huge expectation. And so that's why dropshippers get a bad rap, guys, is because in most cases, they're not able to keep up with those expectations.
Yeah, that's huge.
So, quick recap. So you've got someone who's shipping products from, China or even here in the US. It's taken a while to get there. E-commerce is growing like crazy. And so, maybe you want to get into Amazon, like what Rainmakers is doing. Those things are incredible. But of course, it takes some investment to get started, right?
And if you're like us, when we started our Amazon journey, which has been the best decision we ever made, joining Rainmakers, we didn't have the capital. We really took that leap of faith and we knew that everything was going to work out. And really, Facebook Marketplace dropshipping is what drove our business to be able to be successful because it was like instant cash to a point. Like we didn't have to invest thousands of dollars. We just had to front the product for a short period of time. And then we were getting paid so quickly that we were just like mind blown. Like, I can't believe we're seeing all this money in our account. And that's what really fueled our business in the beginning.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
and I'll say I'll jump in here just to say real quick, there are super legit drop shipping businesses. Like we live in Chico, California, right? And in Chico, there's about 400 people employed by a business called build.com. Has anyone heard of build.com? It's a place like Home Depot online, right? And build.com, like I've been to their place, they don't have any inventory there. They're a drop shipping business, which is crazy, right? It's just like massive multi-million-dollar company, hundreds of employees. So awesome drop shipping business, but tons of overhead, right? So there's traditional drop shipping, which is shipping from AliExpress to USA. That is like, it's not working right now. Like advertising costs, all those things. Like anyone who's trying to sell you that thing is not, it's not a good opportunity, right? Then you have like legit drop shipping, which is like build.com, but it's like massive overhead, employees, all these things. And so what these guys are bringing to you guys today is really what I believe is a new wave of drop shipping because it gets rid of some of the pain points of having to advertise, having to have a lot of upfront inventory or overhead. And I know a lot of you, like if you're in our world, you've heard us preaching the Amazon thing. And while yes, that's amazing, it does take capital to do Amazon. And this is a great low capital business that really anyone can start. And so with that, Dustin and Rachel, like, why do you believe like Meta, Facebook, like Facebook is their new name is like Meta. I'm still getting used to them calling it that, by the way. But like, why do you feel like Facebook is this like new opportunity, this gold rush opportunity?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Sorry.
Here, let's get back. So for Meta, I'll just get my slides pulled up here. Give us 1 second.
Sorry, we had some tech issues. Dustin has an Apple computer.
Rachel's learning how to use Macs.
You guys came to the light side with the Mac recently. I get it.
There we go. It took me a while too. Awesome. All right. So Facebook, right? So while e-commerce is growing like crazy, social media has been growing like crazy too, right? So I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but the internet traffic that Facebook receives alone is 3 times greater than the internet traffic of Amazon. And Amazon is like the biggest e-commerce platform in the world, right? So there's a lot of potential here with what we're about to share with you guys. So Facebook wanted to get a piece of that pie. E-commerce has grown like crazy. Social media has grown like crazy. Facebook's looking for new ways to innovate. They want to keep people on their platform. And so what Facebook did is they rolled out something called Facebook Shops. Now, Facebook Shops has been around for just a couple of years now. It's still really new. And there's been over 3 billion shop visits in just in 2022. So just this last year. So it's been growing like crazy. And people have been using this to purchase items through their social media account. It's so stinking easy, guys. Like, check it out sometime. If you go on Facebook Marketplace and you try to buy something from a shop, it's literally 1 click and it shows up at your door. It's even easier than buying from Amazon in terms of like how many steps you have to go through, right? So Facebook is really pioneering this whole new wave and this entire new way of looking at selling things through social media, right? So let's take a comparison of the different platforms here, because obviously there's a lot of different ways that you can sell stuff. If you were to sell products through Walmart.com, instead of paying 16.5% like you would pay if you were to go set up your own website, do all the legwork yourself, you use Walmart and you're going to pay 15% or more just to list your products on that site, right? So it's a little bit of a savings, but still pretty high. Amazon is a whole nother ballpark because of all the FBA and like the fulfillment and passive income that brings. But just to list products, you're looking at about 15% of your business to go towards that, right? Now, from this point on, we're kind of going down the ladder here in terms of size. So like eBay, the reach is not as far as Amazon's, but they charge 12% to sell on their platform. Etsy, 6.5%. But what about Facebook? What does Facebook charge to sell on their platform? 5%. And oh, by the way, guys, it's completely free until 2023. So here's the crazy thing. Facebook is literally pouring millions and millions of dollars into growing their e-commerce side of their platform because they're covering the costs of credit card processing fees, of support, of having their servers running to process all these transactions. So every time someone makes a sale with Facebook, it's literally costing them money. So that's why this is insane. And like Steven said earlier, this is the wild, wild west, right? This is a new platform and they're investing into the growth of this business.
Yeah. And anytime a new platform comes out with something like this, typically they're willing, especially these big tech companies, they're basically willing to bleed for a season so that they can gain market share. But Facebook is like, you guys know Facebook, like you guys know Mark Zuckerberg, like it's their new breed of crazy where like they're willing to like destroy themselves to become the leader, right? And so like the thing is Facebook does not make like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, they make their money from people selling on the platform. Okay. Like Amazon has a lot of other companies too, right? But Facebook does not make their money from people selling on the platform, nor are they really concerned with making money from people selling stuff on the platform. Facebook makes money by having people on the platform. So the more products they can add to keep people on the platform, the more they make money because they make money through advertising. That's like Facebook's biggest revenue source. And so they're willing to do crazy stuff to bring the best sellers, to bring the easiest customer experience in the e-commerce world to their platform, even though they know they'll like, it's like Costco. Okay. Costco sells chickens for $5, right? Which is like ridiculous. You can't sell a chicken for $5 and make money. And Costco loses, I forget the exact number, but you can look this up. It's like $41 million per year on chicken, because they know the chicken is what gets someone in the door. And when someone comes in the door of Costco, they spend $200, right? They know like you can't come into Costco. And why do they put the chicken in the back? So you go all the way through the whole store, seeing everything you want to buy and to get the chicken. The chicken, it's called a loss leader. It's the thing that gets you in the door. They're willing to lose on it so they can lead and get you in the door. You don't go to Winco, you don't go to Safeway, you don't go to Albertsons, whatever your store is to get the chicken. You go to Costco, and you end up spending more there. They got you as a customer from the $5 chicken they're willing to lose money on, right? Same thing with Facebook. They are willing to lose money in the e-commerce, pay for the fees, make it amazing, making a huge opportunity. We get free traffic and don't have to advertise and all these things right now for a season, and most likely for the next few years as they really build this side of things. So there's a huge opportunity right now. And so I just want to like kind of hammer that again, because this is why this is big. Okay. So I want to cover really quick who this is for. We're about to go into the workshop portion where we're going to be actually walking you through how to set up a Facebook shop. And I know you may have a bunch of questions like, I don't even have a product to sell, like any of these things. We're going to help you out with all those things. Okay. So I just really want to quickly cover who this workshop's for. So one, this workshop's for like the total beginner, right? The total beginner who is like, never sold something online. I think this is a great way to start. Like if I had a teenager right now, which we have like a 2-year-old, but if he was a teenager, I would literally plug him into this because low capital, it's not huge risk. And it really is just learning to leverage the resources around you. It's not being limited by your resources. It's tapping your abundant resourcefulness instead. And we're about to show you a resourceful way to make money on a platform that's already like has the people there. You just got to put the right thing in front of them. So if you're a total beginner, you never sold anything online, maybe you wouldn't even consider yourself tech savvy, like this is for you. We are going to go fast in this workshop. So I do recommend taking notes. And if you do know that you are going to need a little bit slower pace, just take really detailed notes and then come back to the workshop a second time, pause the video and do the steps. Okay. And you will literally have your Facebook shop launched by the end of this workshop. The second type of person this is for is someone who maybe is a little more advanced. You've already sold something online, maybe done marketplace a little bit. Maybe you're even in our Rainmaker community doing Amazon. You want to create another source of income. Maybe you've already tried drop shipping, and maybe you got affected by the latest algorithm change in the drop shipping, world on Facebook, and you're looking for new solutions. Like if that's you, you're in the right place as well, because Rachel and Dustin have really stuck with this thing and they pioneered a new pathway to really do what Facebook wants, right? And put our products in the stream that's already happening on Facebook. So whether you're a total beginner or seasoned seller, this workshop is for you. And I'm definitely seeing a handful of comments. So maybe we'll just hit like just a few rapid fire questions, Rachel and Dustin, and then we'll hop into step one. That sound good?
Sounds great.
Let's do it.
Okay. So people are saying like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. Like, I don't have a product to sell. What would you say to them?
Yeah. So the amazing thing with this whole business model is you don't have to have any product to sell. You can have, if you want, you can have a long-term vision of having a product to sell and growing a brand, but you don't have to do that. This is a really great place to start if you're just looking at stepping into this for the first time, because you're just selling other people's products.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about like tech savviness? Talk to that a little bit. Like what type of tech savvy level should we be, needing to jump into this type of thing?
Yeah, it's super beginner friendly. I mean, it's really, if you can copy and paste, if you're on this call, if you figured out how to get to this Zoom call, then you're already qualified for the tech part. We have an 80-year-old lady. She's retired
nurse. Yeah.
And we have actually several members in their 80s that do this. And, we handhold them through it. Obviously, there's, some things that we just need to show them, hey, click right here. But the tech is very simple when it comes to running this business.
Awesome. Okay. What about like, I know we did this training for our mastermind members, which is like our high tier program. And people were asking like, wait, do I have to like pack stuff up and ship it? Like, people think of e-commerce, they think like I'm packing boxes and shipping. Does it involve any packing boxes and shipping?
Nope. That's the amazing thing. So literally everything is done from your computer. So we could love going on road trips and we can be doing this business in the car on the computer. So you just connect with your supplier and your supplier will ship directly to your customer. So you have no inventory whatsoever at your house. You're not packaging anything. You're not shipping anything out. You just have to connect the dots.
That's amazing. What about returns? Okay. Like I'm drop shipping, I'm shipping from the supplier thing. What about returns? Am I getting stuff back in the mail? Like, I know that was a big question we had from our mastermind group as well.
Yeah, great question. Every supplier has their own policy on returns, but most suppliers have it to where, as long as you return within a certain amount of time, then you can get your money back. And you have your own policies with your customers as well to protect you so that your customers aren't returning things as well.
And the good news is if you are getting returns, that means you're getting sales.
Exactly.
And so returns is just something that is going to happen, but 90% of the time you will also be refunded when you have to refund a customer.
Awesome. Okay. Last two questions here. This 90-minute workshop is really going to show you how to set up your shop and like give you some quick wins. But like, what about like running this business, creating additional source of income? And you guys have done over 6 figures. You've had multiple people work with you guys, do over 6 figures. Like how much time does it really take to set this thing up?
Yeah. So initially you have to, set up the system and stuff like that. So there's maybe a little bit of time for that. But then once it's running, if you're doing it yourself, maybe 30 minutes to an hour per day. For Rachel and I, we really like to have passive income. That's why like our mastermind is called 10-minute workday, because we want to have that time freedom, right? And so this is something that can be completely automated for passive income as well.
Cool. And what do you guys see? Like, I know we can't like guarantee 100% you're going to make, $1 million doing this or whatever, right? But like, what have you guys seen with people? Because you've been working with people, kind of holding hands. You guys have even run shops with other people. What are you seeing? Like, what type of numbers can this side hustle bring in?
Great question.
I mean, it can potentially bring in, that 6-figure numbers, but the scale is it varies so much because it really comes down to like how much work you put into it. And, did you set everything up properly? But on average, it's not uncommon for people to hit that $5,000 a month mark. But again, like everyone's story is so different. Some people, they go through it and within 30 days, they hit like $10,000. Some people, they're making around $1,000 for several months until they start seeing momentum. The scale it varies so much, but the potential and the amount of money you make for what you put in is insane. And that's why we love this business model so much.
Yeah. So most of our members, it's somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000 per month. But then we're going to be showing you guys some strategies during this training that is able to scale that up to in much, much greater potential than even just that.
That's awesome. So cool. And if you've been in our community for a little bit, we have been talking about this Facebook Marketplace drop shipping. But what we've been showing this week is something completely new on top of that. So if you've tried Facebook Marketplace drop shipping, this is a new strategy that you're about to learn. And then last one is like kind of the skepticism in me that I came up when I first heard about this. I was like, well, don't people just like, like I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see like, I remember these like solar lights for the backyard, right? It was like a hot product people were drop shipping. I'm like, don't people just like, cause I do, I go to Amazon and I go like, look the price up there. I find it for low. Don't people like shop around?
That's actually like the number one question we get whenever we introduce this model to people who've never heard of it before. That's seriously the number one question we get. Like, well, why won't someone just buy it on eBay or Amazon? And the answer to that is, well, one, we have the data to show you that people don't, that it's just the ease. Like they see something they want and they just click and they buy it. And it's really interesting. When you're the person selling the thing, you understand the value. If you source from a manufacturer for an Amazon product, you might be getting a product for $3 or $4 and you're selling that for $15, $20. And you understand that model. But the interesting thing about price points is perceived value. So you might be surprised, like a rug that you can source on eBay for $35, that might be worth $50 to someone because that's what they perceive that value of that product to be. And again, like we have the data to show you that people love buying things off Facebook Marketplace and they do it all day, every day because they see something they want and they purchase it and it's off their plate.
Yeah, that's so true. Just because you might search around like me, like I'm kind of like I'll hunt for the deal. Just because that doesn't mean everyone is wired that way. And a lot of people love the convenience of just click on Facebook, done, So you guys ready? That was just some rapid fire Q&A. We'll do more at the end. We have 3 steps we really want to walk you through on how to get this set up for yourself. And so if you are taking notes, which you should be, I might like on page 1, put step 1, maybe a couple pages back, step 2, and a couple pages back, step 3. Step 1 is called the setup strategy. Step 2 is called the markup method. And step 3 is called the scale up system. Okay. So I'll say it one more time. You're taking notes. Step 1, setup strategy. Okay. Step 2, the markup method. And then step 3, the scale up system. Okay. We'll cover each one of those again, but who's ready? Step 1, the setup strategy. Okay. Let us know in the chat if you're ready for step 1. You guys are ready to rock. Again, like I said, just for sake of time, we want to get as much done in 90 minutes as possible. We're going to go, streamlined through the training, but it is step by step. And so if you are pretty tech savvy, pull up your computer and do this step by step with us. If you are feeling like you're behind, I would just take really detailed notes or grab your phone and like screenshot like I was doing this with you guys and like screenshotting the steps so I could just go back through and do it. Whatever's going to work for you. And then come back through the replay, pause and do it with us. But the goal is like, you can literally launch a business off this training, at least get started in the right direction. So you guys ready for step 1?
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I'll just show you a little potential here as we transition into step 1. This is a shop that we just had set up as a test shop, right? So this is like a report of the sales. So over the course of a 2-month period, we just turned that shop on and then turn it back off again so that you guys could see just the results over that 1-month period. And we did $16,730.40 in sales. And that was with some of the crazy strategies we're going to show you guys in just a little bit here. So that was 1 month. We only had 150 products in this shop. So there's a lot of potential with this. So how does this work? That's the first part of this here. All you're doing is you're just taking listings off of suppliers, like say eBay, for example, and you're copying descriptions, you're copying the images, copying all that information, right? And you're just copying and pasting it into your Facebook shop. Super, super, super easy. All right, so we already covered who this is for. So grab a notepad, like Steven said. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and we're going to show you how to get set up with a shop. So step 1, the setup strategy.
And guys, this is going to be hands-on. So we're going to show you right now. If you are watching, get your Facebook pulled up or come back to it, but we're going to show you hands-on right now how to successfully set up a shop.
Correct. Now, what's amazing is like Facebook does want you to succeed. I've taken a super deep dive into Facebook, and the number of tools and resources they provide for you to be successful as an e-commerce seller on their platform is absolutely mind-blowing. So if you want to get a Facebook shop, the process is fairly simple. Like Steven said, you can just screenshot this, come back to the recording, and I'm going to move through pretty quickly here. So from your Facebook profile on a desktop computer, go to business.facebook.com/settings. And from there, you're going to have one of 3 screens show up for you. Now, what Facebook shows you is going to be dependent on the current situation your account is in right now. But what you're trying to get to, guys, is right here on the right side where it says business settings. If you end up here where it says select business, you're just going to, click into one of these business accounts. If it takes you to this thing called Meta Business Suite, you're just going to click all tools. And then there's going to be an option that says more settings. And you will be here on this business settings page where we're trying to get to.
Yeah. And Dustin, I did this the other day too. Go back to that last slide. If you've never set up a business before, yours will probably look like number 1, but it won't have any businesses in there. It'll just say like start a business manager or something. Exactly. All you have to do is click that and fill out the form and you'll be in. So Facebook shows different versions for different people. So we want to show you all the options of what you might see. So you kind of know how to get to that next step.
Yeah, thanks for throwing that in there, Steven. Yeah. So if you ever tried Facebook dropshipping before, if you ever tried to run an ad, if you ever mess with anything with a business, you're going to get one of these 3 options. Like Steven said, if you've never touched any of that stuff before, more than likely you'll come to a different screen where Facebook will open the doors wide for you and give you like this wizard that steps you step by step through the process, right? So once you're in, assuming you already have a business manager or multiple business managers, the first step that you need to do is you need to look at the age of your business manager. So if you go down this drop down on the top left-hand corner where it says Benevolence Shop, this is just an example business manager that I have here from a screenshot I took. Hit that drop down and it's going to show you all of the business managers that you have in your Facebook profile. You're going to go through each of those, and then down here on each of them where it says business info, you're going to look over here in the middle where it says created by your name and then a date. make sure that you choose the business manager that is your oldest business manager. That one is going to be the most tenured, the most stable, and Facebook is going to favor that one the most. If you've never had a business manager before and you went through that wizard Stephen mentioned, then that will be your oldest one and you're good to go, right? So from here, what we're going to do is go to business.facebook.com/commerce. Now this system I'm showing you, like there's other ways to set up a Facebook shop, but we have managed over 12 different brands. We've set up dozens and dozens of shops and we've battle tested this. And so we've learned the best way to set up a shop, because at the end of the day, all that Facebook is a giant software program. And you just know how to run the machine the way that Facebook wants you to, in the way that's most efficient and successful, right? So this is where you'll go from here. Now, once you're here, it's going to take you to what's called your Commerce Manager. If you've ever set up a shop before, you might recognize this where it says add shop and just want to click that right away, right? Don't click that button. That button will come later. What you need to do is go down here to the bottom and click add catalog. Now, there's a really interesting reason why Facebook wants you to do this. And that's because Facebook can't stand for you to have a poor, naked, lonely little catalog in your account. It wants it to have a mommy and a daddy, a business manager, a catalog, or a commerce account. And it's like, it gives it all that stuff. It's like, oh, while you're at it, here, have a shop, right? So Facebook is going to make the process much easier for you if you just start with a catalog, show Facebook that you have something to sell before you ask them to give you a shop, right? So click there for a catalog, and from there, click e-commerce. And then here you're going to name your catalog. This is not your shop name, but I want you to make this match your shop name, because when you're looking at your assets inside your Facebook account, if you ever see this again, you want to remember what it's for, right? So this is the point of the process where you're going to choose the name of your Facebook shop. And it's funny, like your name, you don't have to overthink this. It doesn't have to be anything crazy complicated. Literally the other day, I was setting up a Facebook shop and I couldn't figure out what to name it. So I just looked at my desk and I saw a microphone and a Dell computer sitting there. And I just thought, I put them together, just like, okay, Mick Dell, and I put an E at the end of it. So it's like Mick Dell, you know, and that shop took off. So, I mean, you don't have to overthink it. Just get a name in there. You can always change it later, and you can always create more shops if you find another name you like later. All right. So that's a shop name. So once you've done that, you're going to land at a page like this. It says Commerce Manager on it. If you've ever opened a Facebook shop before, you might get excited and recognize this page, because this is what it looks like when you have a Facebook shop. You've got a dashboard that just looks just like this, except the only difference is there's literally nothing in here. You look under your items in your catalog, nothing. Data sources, nothing. Shop, there's nothing here, right? It's just an empty catalog. Now, we're going to take a little detour here because there's something that Facebook wants us to do in order to comply with the requirements for selling online. And that is you have to have a website set up. Facebook wants to see that you are a business, you're a serious business, you're serious about selling things. And so they want to see this web address. Now, all you have to do, this is so easy, guys. Just go to domains.google.com, and from there, you're going to be able to get a web address. So a URL, you know, like rainmakers.com or, you know, 10minworkday.com or, you know, whatever it is. Just type in a name and it's going to tell you whether or not that's available. If it's not available, just put a variation in there, maybe something that's plural versus singular or vice versa, right? I recommend a .com website because they're the most trusted and people recognize those the most. So all you do, drop that in your cart and that you're done. Like you literally don't have to do anything at all beyond this. All you're doing is saving your spot on the internet.
And just go back real quick. As you can see, this is extremely affordable to get a domain. You might put in a name that it might say like, okay, to get that, it's thousands of dollars. So don't buy anything that's more than a couple bucks. You can see right here, to get metasidehustle.com, we should totally take that.
I think I did.
To get that, it's only $12 a year to get that domain. So as you can see, it's extremely affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. And they don't try to upsell you on stuff. You go to some of these other websites, they're going to try to get you to buy all kinds of other things that you don't necessarily need, right? So now that you got a website, just go ahead and go back to the screen that we were at before, which I'll take you back right here in your Commerce Manager, which you'll already be here. And then click on items, and you're going to start adding an item. right? So it's just going to ask you to fill in all this information about the item. This is where you're going to just copy and paste the information from the listings from your supplier. Super easy. Now, in our full mastermind program, I provide our students with copy and paste, already completed, already done for you items that you can add into your shop to get a shop approved. Because the more information you put in here, the more likely there might be a word that Facebook doesn't like. So for that reason, I always recommend you just keep your descriptions and title very short, very simple. Don't give too much about it, just what it is, done, right?
Yeah, because what you're trying to avoid here is listing items that Facebook bans. So just using common sense, like don't list any weapons, don't list anything like health items, like you don't list vitamins or supplements. So if you can just find generic like household products and then just go through them, because sometimes when you copy a listing over, that supplier is like trying to index for everything, and there's some really weird language and words
trying to stuff too many keywords in there,
and some of those words can just trigger the Facebook algorithm. So just make sure if you're doing this on your own, like Dustin said, delete majority, because your goal with these 6 items is not to sell them. The goal is just to show Facebook that you have items to sell.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a blue t-shirt, just call it a blue t-shirt. Don't call it a blue t-shirt with Egyptian cotton that came from the most fine, all this other stuff. Just keep it simple, right? So after you add those 6 items, they're just simple items. Make sure that Facebook doesn't give you any notices after this that's telling you have to fix anything. That will show up for you, so you don't have to worry about that right now. And then once that's done, you're going to go ahead and open your shop. So you've showed Facebook that you are a real seller, you want to sell something, right? Click on Shops from the Commerce Manager and click Go to Shops. From there, Facebook's just going to walk you through the process of creating your shop. Now, here's something really important I want to stress, and I can't stress this enough. The key to having a successful shop that's not getting shut down, not having bugs and issues and errors down the road, the number one way to make sure it's bulletproof is to enter accurate business information. Because like I said earlier, Facebook is nothing more than a giant software program. 96% of everything that happens at Facebook is completely automated. People do not get involved in this software program unless something breaks. And typically, even then, they don't do it until you ask them to go look at what broke, right?
And you might have to ask them 10 times.
Exactly. So literally, I want you guys to pull out your government documents, right? If you've never opened a business before, this is a good time. It's really simple. Just, you don't have to have any specific type of a business. It could be, a sole proprietorship. You don't even have to get an LLC. Just keep it simple, right? So enter your business information as it appears on your government documents. Same with your name. Make sure your name matches your driver's license. And then from there, you're going to get this page that says Missouri Sales Tax Registration Number. This does not apply to you. This is only if you've reached a certain threshold, and that threshold, I believe it's like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, you're not going to be at this point yet. So you don't have to even think about this, and you won't for a little while. So just click next on this screen. From there, it's going to ask you to put in where you want to get paid. So whenever someone purchases an item in your Facebook shop, you're just going to put in your bank account number, preferably a business bank account. But at the end of the day, Facebook doesn't care so long as you put the information in here and it matches what's on file with the bank. After that point, you're going to get a screen that says you're ready to go live. Click Publish Shop, and you're done. You have a Facebook shop. From there, if you want to see, what's really interesting about Facebook shops, guys, a Facebook shop will spread out all over Facebook. And one of those places it can spread to is Facebook Marketplace. Your listings can potentially show up on Facebook Marketplace. If you want to see whether or not you can get that feature, go down to Settings, click Business Assets, and then you'll see this on the bottom. It says Marketplace. Click Enable, or it will tell you that you have to wait a bit longer. The older your business manager is, the more likely you're going to get this feature enabled, because Facebook enables it based on account age, right? But you don't need the marketplace connection. That's one thing that a lot of Facebook sellers don't realize, is that you can sell successfully with this absolutely no Facebook Marketplace connection and just take advantage of the other tools that Facebook makes available to you.
Yeah, and a common question we get asked if you're setting your shop up this way is, if you go back to the screen right here, you'll see where the publish shop is not green check mark.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean your shop is not published after you click publish shop. We have done this and walk students through doing this so many times. Majority of them, it's not going to show the green check mark for like 24 to 48 hours. It doesn't mean that your shop's not approved. It just takes Facebook some time in the back end.
The servers take a bit to update.
Yeah, but your shop is approved, and that's the goal, because that's a big pain point we were seeing. People were going through the traditional way to get a shop set up, and they weren't getting their shop approved. And without an approved shop, you can't take advantage of the Meta platform.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
This is so good, you guys. I want to do just a quick 6-step recap for you all. Because I know we're going fast, and some people are catching it. Some people are like, whoa, because Facebook, Facebook is I learned this because I've done so much teaching on Facebook ads and all those things. I'd always go to share my screen, and everyone's like, mine looks different, So if your interface looks different, look for the words that match, because sometimes a button's going to look a little different, but the words will typically stay the same. Facebook is weird in that they'll roll version out to Dustin that's different than the version out to me. But who has seen this and maybe you didn't get all the way through it, but you're like, I feel like I could do that if I just have this video and pause it and just go step by step. I feel like I could follow those steps. Let me know in the chat. Okay, yes, we'll definitely make sure this replay is made available. We will be emailing out this replay to everyone, and we'll have it up for a limited time. So make sure you just go through those steps and pause the video. I have a couple questions that came up here, but let me do the 6-step, just kind of high level recap if you're taking notes, just so you have a checklist, and let me know if I missed anything, Dustin and Rachel. So number 1, you're going to set up this Facebook Business Manager. That was the first thing they walked you through, that you could think of this it's almost like a folder you're setting up where you're like, I'm going to run a business on Facebook. You set this business manager. Okay. Then you get through that process, and you want to set up a catalog. So that's within the business manager. That was the next thing they showed you. Instead of going directly to set up a shop, you set up a catalog first. This is definitely a hack, you guys. So that add a shop button that they showed you, don't click that one. You click the add a catalog. This is a way to get you in on Facebook and get you approved 100% of the time. And so from there, you're going to get your domain name. Okay, domain name. So you get a website. I had a couple questions come up about, what if I already have a domain name? Can I use that one? I already have a blog, that type of thing. Is that okay?
Great question. I would recommend, unless you're planning on using that website to sell products from, then no. I would, in most cases, you're going to want to just hold your place on the internet. It's $12, right? So you're not really at a loss for much. And then you can use that to convert into anything else you want later.
Awesome. Okay. Then from there, step 3, add 6 items to the catalog. Now, this doesn't have to be actual items that you're wanting to sell. You're basically just practicing the process, and you're showing Facebook, I'm legit. I didn't just set up something and leave it blank, right? And having the products in your catalog is what's going to make sure your shop gets approved pretty fast. And so those products, would you recommend just grabbing basically random products off eBay? Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, eBay. And like I said, just keep it super generic. Just make sure you are really safe if you stay home decor. You just don't want those products that could potentially, put your account at risk. So if you did just home decor items and, delete half of the description and just, read it out yourself, make sure it makes sense. There's no trigger words. And you can even Google Facebook banned words and just make sure those aren't in there. But just use your common sense and it's good.
Don't list live animals or guns.
Yeah,
right? Exactly. I'd just go to Home Depot, or I go to Home Goods. I look at their homepage, like you guys mentioned this earlier, and just use those examples. Go to eBay, find similar products. You just want to list everyday boring stuff that people are buying. Again, you're not actually selling these. I mean, maybe you do make a sale, but you're really just creating a shell to work off of to get approved. Okay. Step 4 is you're going to set up your shop with accurate business information. Now, they said business information, but I want to tell you guys all, if you're on this call, you own a business now, okay? You are the business. And so you don't have to go to your local, thing and get a business license. Yes, you can do that eventually. But right now, you can set yourself up as a sole proprietorship. This just means when Facebook asks for your business information, you're going to use your tax ID number, your social security number, and you just run the business as a sole prop. That's what it's called. And it's a great place to start. And then you can expand and get a different entity later. But that's the easiest way to do it. And at the end of the year, you're making a bunch of money with this business. You're going to report that income off your social security number and pay your taxes and all the things. Okay. So that's the easiest way to do it. Just have your name matching your social security number, and you're all good to go. Okay. And then step number five, connect it to a bank account. Again, this could be any bank account. So just connect to one you have already. And then like they said, if you want to keep things separate, make your life easier with taxes and stuff, eventually just start a separate bank account and reconnect it to that. I'm big about taking action. I see a lot of people get stuck in the, oh, well, I have to do this. And then they never do the thing. It's 3 months later and they haven't taken action. So I'd recommend just use what you have right now, get this thing going, and then optimize over time. Okay. Like connect it to a different bank account. You can do that. It's very easy later on. And then step 6 is to get the shop set up, step 6 is to enable Facebook Marketplace, right? So you have the shop set up and he said to go in the settings, right? And you can click enable Facebook Marketplace, and that's going to allow your shop to reach more people. So again, like very high level overview, you can watch the replay and pause and go step by step by step by step. And again, if your interface doesn't match what they showed, just look for the words that match. Like if it says create shop, it'll say create shop on your end too. They typically don't change the words. Sometimes they'll just change that buttons. Instead of here, it's there. It just looks different for different people. And also ensure you're doing this on a computer and not on your phone. You can't do this on a phone right now. You got to set this up on your computer. All right. Exactly. How did I do? Is that a good kind of like high level recap?
That was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah. You're a good student, Stephen. I love it.
So, I'm taking notes, you guys. I'm retaining the information. Okay. So what questions do you guys have about step 1? So step 1 is the setup. Okay. That's the foundations. Okay. The setup. So what questions do you guys have? Does it make sense? You feel like, yeah, I could totally do this watching the replay, click and pause. What questions do you guys have about step 1? Drop them in the chat. We're going to go off the chat because we got a ton of people in the room here. So if we unmute people, it's going to get crazy. So in the chat, let me know. I did see a question about I already have a shop, but it didn't get approved. Because this new method we just showed of how to create the catalog first is it's the way to get approved. So if they already have a shop that's not approved, could they, should they do? Delete that and start a new one? What do you recommend?
I would say just go back and look at it from the perspective of what we just showed you. Check the age of the business manager, make sure all the business information is entered accurately. Just make sure those steps were followed first. And if they're not, go back and fix them. And if you like, you can always just go create a new one.
Yeah, we see a lot of people who have a shop that wasn't approved that do this and they get that shop approved immediately.
Yeah, we've had students that came to us who had not had a shop approved for 10 months. And then they went through this method and they had it approved in 15 minutes.
That's awesome. So cool. What about someone is asking kind of logistics, this is kind of a further question. So maybe we say this one. She's asking, do we cover the cost of the item? So we list something, someone buys it. What are the logistics? I guess that's kind of the next section, huh? The markup method.
I can answer that now. That's no problem. The cool thing about dropshipping is you don't have to put out any investment until you've had a customer who's bought it, right? So it's not like regular e-commerce where you got to go spend thousands of dollars on, 500 units of one thing, stick in your garage, hope it sells. You're literally just buying it as it's bought from you.
But you do have to allow to be able to float that money. So let's just make a very, very simple example. Let's say you list a product that's costing you $10 and you list on Facebook Marketplace or your shop for $20. You receive that order, you go to eBay, you buy it for $10. So that's $10 out of your pocket. And so what we recommend, and the beautiful thing about this is, if most people have access to a credit card, most people have access to, get a credit card or you have one on hand, and you can use that to float the cash, because by the time you owe that credit card, you will have been paid out by Facebook.
That's the amazing thing, guys. It's there's good debt and there's bad debt, right? Bad debt is where you go buy a bunch of stuff you don't need that doesn't give you anything in return. Good debt is where you go take someone else's money and use that to make more money. And that's what we're doing here, right? So you don't have to have thousands of dollars in your bank account, and you don't even have to have thousands of dollars on a credit card. Just start out with what you've got, and you can start this business.
Totally. I know a lot of people have different names on Facebook. The Facebook name doesn't have to match the Social Security, right? It's just the name that you put in the business settings, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can be, Barney's uncle on Facebook, but just make sure your name you put in your business manager is accurate to your driver's license.
And when we say accurate, we mean if your name is Rachel M. Nally on your driver's license and you put in there Rachel Marie Nally, that will potentially get your account restricted.
Yeah. So like I said, Facebook's a software machine, And if it's just a bunch of ones and zeros,
Mhm.
right? If it'll take
Yeah.
what you give it and it'll go over here and it'll see if it matches. And if it matches, it'll go through. If it doesn't match, it won't. Right.
Yeah, and if you're using, let's just put this out there because it has come up. If you are using like an LLC information, make sure your business name, you have that typed out in all caps. We have seen that just be really crucial in getting it approved. Again, it's like something with Facebook, they want to see that business information in all caps. So that's just a tidbit for you. But most people just start out, they're just using, your social and your personal address.
Yeah. And what she just said bounces right off what I just said. The only reason for that is because when Facebook looks at government documents to check that, it's in all caps when it looks at it, right? Every once in a while, Facebook will spit it back out and say, no, you can't use all caps. That's okay. Just follow Facebook's directions on that.
Okay, nice. Just some pro tips, you guys. Like this is stuff like this is a hot opportunity, but a lot of people are gonna get stuck in this because they don't have coaching like this. So way to be here. Okay, a couple rapid fire questions. I think I can get this one. Do we have to have an actual website for a domain name? No, you just have to have like the domain name. You don't need to go build a website at this point. That is a part of a future process that'll help you do more, but you don't need that to start. And what's the link for the first place you go? That is Gladys asking that. It's business.facebook.com. That's the starting place to get started. Let's see. Is this connected to your own Facebook page or like, do you start a new Facebook page? We had that comment come in.
Great question. Yeah, there's a firm line of separation between what you're creating with this business manager and your personal Facebook profile. So you basically create this asset that you become an administrator of. And it is not the same as your personal Facebook profile. So sometimes people get confused with that. It's funny, like you're literally giving yourself permission to sell on the thing you just created. So there's a separation.
Yeah, and that's like the difference between if you're familiar with like basic drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace, you are using your personal account going to, if you pulled your phone up right now, you could see like the Marketplace button, and then you're listing directly from there. That does tie to your personal Facebook account. But that's the beauty of Facebook shops is there's no connection unless you make that connection, unless you post, on your personal page, hey, I'm running this shop. Besides that, like there is no personal connection unless you choose to make that happen.
Yeah. And guys, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like a lot of times when people get into social media and e-commerce and selling stuff, it's like, oh, I don't want my friends to see what I'm doing. Well, I want you to encourage you to push past that mindset a little bit, put yourself out there just a little bit, because this means financial freedom, right? Mm-hmm. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. So, that being said, it's not fake. Facebook is not going to broadcast to all your friends, Dustin has a shop, it's just not going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. 2 ones. I think I can rapid fire these. Odessa said, can we sell digital assets, not just physical products? I think right now only physical products are working. Will digital assets be a thing in the future?
Well, yeah.
We'll get that later.
Yeah. It's as a whole, no. As a whole, they want physical goods, but there's other things.
Okay. Maybe in the future, we'll see. Nicole said, does my email associated with the business manager have to match my Facebook? And the answer is no. You can have a different email on your business manager than your personal Facebook, which is nice because my personal Facebook email I made when I was like 14 years old. All right. Let's see here. Question about drop shipping from Amazon. So like when we're doing this Facebook Marketplace drop shipping, we are finding products from sometimes retailers. We're going to show you a better way. And previously, you may have heard of people doing this off Amazon. They find an Amazon product and drop ship it on Facebook. But what would you guys recommend now?
Yeah, so now our number one retail dropshipper supplier would be eBay.
eBay and Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart's a good alternative to Amazon, because they do have a fulfillment network just like Amazon does.
Yeah, we don't recommend Amazon anymore. That is a more recent change just because they're very strict. And if you're shipping to multiple addresses, they'll shut your account down.
Right.
And so it's just best to stay away from Amazon now. So if you're getting into it, go to eBay or Walmart. Those are going to be your best suppliers for getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. Someone asked about fulfillment. Like, do I have to spend a lot of time on fulfillment? The answer is no. Like, because we're drop shipping, all you're doing is connecting the dots. You're like connecting the person who wants to buy the product from the person who wants to sell the product. Is shipping it to the person who bought the product. So you're not having to pack boxes up or anything like that. Let's see. Other questions. Let's do like a few more here from the chat. You guys are doing awesome, asking amazing questions. Then we're going to go to step number 2, which is the markup method. So if you're wondering like, how do I find products? How much do I mark them up? That's going to cover all of that. Okay. I guess Facebook's having system issues right now. So if that's happened to you, that pop up, we might be breaking it.
I need to say, if 500 people are trying to do that right now, it could be breaking it.
That's awesome. Let's see. Okay, I'm just scrolling through the questions. Make sure we covered all these. What if something takes off and you sell like 2,000 things in a day?
I say praise God, right?
I mean, that can happen. Like,
the first thing I like to check is just make sure the item you posted is legit. Like, we have a friend who he posted Pokemon cards and he sold like 100 of them in a couple hours. It was like every minute he was getting another order, literally. And he's like, okay, something's not quite right here. Like, what's normal. And so he checked into it. He called some Pokemon dealers and they were like, oh no, those aren't real. And he's like, he took them down right away. But you guys don't really have to worry about that, because if you're sourcing your products from like eBay or Walmart or things like that, so long as you're pre-vetting your suppliers to make sure they're coming from the United States, it's a good seller that has a good rating, no problem, right? I mean, they have a history of trust, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Someone was saying like, yeah, what if I sell a ton and like I hit my credit card limit? Like, these are all really great problems. Like, we want you guys to have these problems because it means you're making tons of money.
Exactly.
Just having where someone lists a product and sells a bunch overnight. But you can turn these listings off if you see like, wow, it's getting over to the point where I'm comfortable with how much I'm floating for the next 5 days. You can turn things off, turn it back on when you're ready. So that's totally fine. Last question. This is definitely a common one. I thought when I first heard this, aren't people like skeptical when they order something off Facebook and then they get a box from eBay or Walmart or Home Depot? Like, talk to that for a second.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's also like probably the second question we asked. So we used to recommend Amazon as your top supplier. So you get Amazon Prime Box, and I would say less than 1% of your customers ever ask a question about it, ever think it's weird, because people are so familiar with
Amazon boxes.
Like, I'm sure, like, I have a ton of Amazon boxes in my garage. And if I was going to like ship a product out, I might put it in that. So that's not uncommon for people to see. But what's really cool now about using eBay as a supplier, a lot of the people that you're buying from on eBay, it's going to come in a generic box. Like, they don't have really eBay boxes. Like, they're usually generic boxes. And again, it goes down to, if you have people asking you about the box, like, it will happen if you're selling, which is a good problem to have. And we have language around that. The most common one, when people would ask me what the Amazon box is, I would say, yeah, I use Amazon as my shipping supplier. I had some pretty language around that. And it just like sets the expectation of, oh, okay. Because at the end of the day, the customer is getting what they want for the price that they agreed to pay. And 99% of the time, they're not going to ask questions about that, because they open the box, they see what they ordered, and they're happy.
Yeah. All the other stuff just goes straight to the trash.
Awesome. Okay, man. I've got like 95 more comments to go, but I think we need to move to section 2. We'll have some Q&A at the end. So if you asked a question that didn't get hit during that Q&A time, write it down on your piece of paper. You're taking notes, and we'll hit it at the end again. I did see a couple of questions about, where do I find suppliers? Can I promote on other social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, all those things? Stay tuned. We're going to cover some of those things in this next couple of questions here.
One question I do want to touch on real quick, Steven.
Okay, go for it.
And this is one that we get a lot of it, and I see the chat's blowing up about it. What if there's an invoice in there? What if it shows the price? What if I revealed that I marked up the price? 99.9% of the time, it's not going to show the price in there. It's just going to show like a brand name or something like that. And trust me, guys, like, we have sold hundreds of thousands of products, and we almost never have this problem. Yes, occasionally you'll get someone who brings it up, but at the end of the day, if it's that big of a problem, just refund them the difference and go on your merry way. Like, continue running your business and serving the people you're called to serve.
Yeah, and these questions are good questions to have, and that's why you're on this call right now. We're addressing them, but just like borrow our faith that we have shipped so many items, and yes, you will have questions from customers, but that's a good thing, because that means you are making money and you're selling things. And just like trust the process. And we've seen our students, I think we've taught over 700 people now how to do this. And the questions you're having right now are the same questions they've had, the same questions we had. And so keep asking them. They're great questions. but hopefully we can just like break those fears for you on this call so that we can give you the confidence you need to get started on this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I remember one of my favorite stories on that is like Randon, who is a coach in our community as well. And she was pretty early on in this Facebook marketplace thing. And she was so hesitant to jump in because she wanted to know all the details. Right. And it was kind of stressing her out and going like, oh my gosh, like, this is like new territory. It feels scary. Right. And like I said, she was early in this Facebook game, and it was before even some of the stuff they're going to teach you guys tonight, which is a whole nother layer on it. But I remember her selling, I think it was like $14,000 in her first month doing this in like take home, like 14,000. And she was just like crying, like, this is crazy. Cause like, it was scary having like this, like, it's a new business. Like it's new, and she's such a people pleaser. She wants to love on the people. And she was just like, I don't know, like, it's like, feels like bigger than, but she got really used to it. And you level up in the process. So if you're going in scared, it's totally okay. Borrow their faith, borrow the community's faith. Like, this thing does work. You just got to take those steps of faith and go like, I'm going to see this thing through, and I'm going to go one step at a time. And I believe you're not really led into any battle you're not already prepared for somehow internally. And so just being on this call, getting coaching and training like this, you guys are ready for this. So let's hop over to section 2. Okay. So step 2 on your paper, you got step 2, the markup method. Okay. The markup method. We want to teach you some framework on this. So, like, where do I find stuff? Where are these suppliers? How much do I charge for these things? If you're having those type of questions, this is step 2. This is what you need to know.
Yeah. And Steve, I know that number 7 is magic. I'm going to give you a number 7 for your 6-step process here. And that is security. So just do this one last thing.
Oh,
go
yeah.
to your business manager, go to Security Center. And then from there, turn on 2-factor authentication. All that's going to do is that if somebody else tries to log into your account from somewhere else, it's going to send you a message and say, hey, is this okay? Right? That's all it is. And then click add another admin. All you got to do is just put the email address of someone you trust, a spouse, a family member, a close friend. Obviously, just let them know you're going to do it. And Facebook will just send them an email and say, hey, are you cool with being an admin? They'll click yes, put their own Facebook password in, and you're done. That just gives Facebook more security for your account, because if something ever happens to your profile, someone can still help your customers, or you can still, we've never had that happen to anyone, but this is a security feature Facebook wants, right?
Yep.
All right. So that's step 7, and we're done.
Before we get into the market method, like people were reporting, Facebook might have a glitch right now. So I would just encourage you, just focus on the section, because you can come back to it. So the first step about setting up your shop was very hands-on. That's like homework for tonight or the next, however soon you can get to it. But for this, like, just sit back, get your notepad and write down the notes. And we're going to walk you through these next few steps.
All right. So the markup method, we're going to do a little practice here, guys. This tool here I'm showing you a screenshot of. This is something that we include for any member who's in our mastermind program. And it's just like this easy calculator. So like, you get the product from a supplier, let's say eBay or wherever. Let's say it's a $28 product. You just plug that in here, and it's going to spit out what you're going to charge on Facebook. So it just does it for you automatically. Now, you don't have to have all the fancy tools that we provide to our students in that to do this business, obviously. So we're just going to do a little practice, and this is going to be a little bit of like audience interaction here, right? So let's practice. Here's a product on eBay, $55.99. Let's say a markup of 50%, and that's a pretty standard markup for this business. If you wanted to charge a 50% markup on this product, how much would you charge? Go ahead and blow up the chat, guys.
We're going to find out who our market people are.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's my calculator? I know 50%, but okay. So
someone says they can't see I'm sorry, Steven. Someone says they can't see the PowerPoint. Let me just pull this up for you guys. Is this showing? 1 second.
You see eBay. I see eBay right now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
If you're on Zoom, you guys, make sure you check the view in the upper right-hand corner. If you're on your computer, there's like a view button, just in case it's showing like everyone's faces. You want to definitely check out the speaker view, which will show the big screen there.
Yep. Somebody asks, is that markup or margin? That's going to be markup. So what is that?
Okay, so we got a lot of 83.99s around there. 83 something, 84.
Okay, yep. 83. Yep. Okay. All right. We're going to do a little math. All right. So let's say you got a $55.99 product. So what you're going to do to find out what you're going to charge is you're going to put in the price, multiply by 1.5. So that's for 50%, right? So times 1.5, click equals. We're keeping it simple here, guys. Click equals $83.98 and half a penny, right? It's rounded up to the penny. Don't worry about the penny. So there's your price. If you're curious what your profit is, just take that number and multiply the cost. So minus $55.99, you made $27 and basically $28 in profit, right? So you sell one of these things, you just made 28 bucks. So there you go.
If you go back to the calculator though, you'll see what you actually made with taxes and stuff like that. But
Yep.
this is just like a rough number. And you don't have to mark it up 50%. You can mark it up 30%, but what we recommend is between that 30 and 60%
Yeah,
range.
30 to 60% is the range you want to be in.
Yeah.
Yep. 50% is a good place to start. And for cheap items, if you're not sure and you just don't like math, add 10 bucks to it. Seriously, like you got a $7 item, add 10 bucks and charge 17 and you're done, right? So there you go.
That's awesome. So price, super simple formula. Of course, they got the fancy calculator, but just for you guys on this workshop, price times 1.5. Okay. So that's like times 1.5. That'll get you a good rough metric. Okay. Minimum, you said, like if it's a like really low price item, minimum $10 markup, but typically you see your students going 30 to 60% markups on most items, and they're still selling on Facebook. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And if some of you guys are like super into the numbers, you've got everything dialed in big and you're like, I want my numbers to be exact. Well, then by all means, that's what these types of tools are. They're a mastermind that we provide for people. And you can figure this out on your own. It's just basic math. You can Google it.
When I started, I would literally just like look at a product like, I'll do this number. Like there doesn't have to be necessarily a metric to it, but it's just one way to protect you, because some people just, if you see a $55 product, just make sure you don't list it for $45.
Yeah.
Oh, and I give this example. I gave this on a previous workshop. We're building like a back unit. We're building back house in our backyard. Our contractor, he bid us for this house, like big old bid, right? We pay him, and then he pays the people underneath him to actually swing the hammers and put the things there. He's buying the windows. He's buying all the things, right? This is a very similar thing where you guys are providing a service on Facebook Marketplace. Facebook wants people to shop on Facebook, right? People want to shop on Facebook. Suppliers want to sell their products, and they might not have the traffic. So you're just connecting the dots. You're getting paid to connect the dots. And so this isn't like people that really do want to price shop. They're going to go price shop, and they're not your customers. But the people that like the convenience of shopping on Facebook, they'll pay extra for that convenience, and you get paid to manage the stuff, right? You get paid to manage the supplier and the traffic source where people are hanging out on Facebook, and the tech of your time listing these things on Facebook and providing those on Facebook. And, if the guy swinging the hammer back here came to me and I saw his invoice of what, he's getting paid by the contractor out of what I'm paying the contractor, I wouldn't be upset, because I like paying someone to manage the person who does the stuff. And similarly, these people, a lot of times, I don't know if you've had payment slips be included in the package, which is typically not the case, but people, one, don't look at those things. And when they do, there's very minimal people are upset with this type of thing. You'd be surprised, because they just like shopping on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to bring up, and something that it's really crazy, because the world of e-commerce is so huge. If you go to Amazon, you will find products that are actually, it looks like we lost.
Oh, I stopped it so we can see.
No, you're good. Okay, great. I just thought something happened to the screen. Yeah, if you go to Amazon right now and you look for a patio set, you might find that exact same patio set at Walmart for cheaper, but it's listed on Amazon for more expensive. It's like this whole ecosystem. That's how our economy works. And, addressing that question of is raising the price an okay thing to do? It's just a business. And at the end of the day, if you're listing a product for $25 that someone could find for $15, they are choosing to buy it from you for $25. It's just like boutique stores or convenience stores. You can pay $3 for a candy bar now, or you can go to Walmart and buy them for 97 cents. And so at the end of the day, you aren't scamming anyone, because you are publicly listing that price for that item, and they decide if they want it for that price point. And all over. You can buy products at all sorts of different prices from eBay, Walmart, gas stations, Walgreens. Like that's how our economy works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. Now, before we go on to step 3, which I think a lot of you guys are going to like, because what if there was a way to not just mark up retail products like off eBay, Home Depot, Walmart? Well, if there's a way to get those products at a discount and offer people a deal on Facebook Marketplace, wouldn't that be cool? Well, we have some information on that coming your way. Okay. But before we do that, let's just we want to make sure you guys are catching each method here. Let's talk about the markup. What questions you guys have specifically about step 2, the markup? Like when you guys are working with retail products off eBay, Walmart, all these things, the 50%. Are there any questions about that specifically? Drop them in the chat. I'm going to watch for questions. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hold on. That's like, convenience. That's why some people call them convenience stores. People pay more for convenience. Wow. I never thought about that. Yeah, that's right. You don't have to fly to China and buy the product. You can just buy it there. It's convenient.
Yeah. Somebody asked, does the price that you calculate for markup, does that include tax? Does that include shipping? Yeah, just roll all those costs into it and then just multiply that by 1.5 or 1.4, whatever your markup's going to be.
Awesome. What if something, what if something becomes unavailable before you have a chance to buy it? How do you reduce that risk?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically whenever, and this is something you'll learn whenever you're looking for items to list, you want to list items that have, a decent amount in stock. But usually the good news is if you get an order, let's say you got an order for a cell phone case, a specific cell phone case or whatever the case may be, and you go to fulfill it through eBay, your original supplier, let's say that it's out of stock. Usually you can go Google that item and find it somewhere else, either another supplier. I mean, just eBay alone, usually one product, there's 5 to 10 sellers selling that exact same product. Because again, they're leveraging the market and they're buying a ton of products in bulk and then they're selling them and they sell them for all different price points as well. And so usually that's not a problem. It does happen sometimes where you will get an order and you can't fulfill it. When that does happen, you just, message the supplier, message the customer, let them know you're sorry, I wasn't able to fulfill this, and they get a full refund. That doesn't happen that often if you're listing products that are in stock though.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. I have a question on, let's see here. How do you choose good products to sell? And then second part of that question, do I need to choose a theme? Do I need to sell a certain type of product or do I kind of just list random things?
Good questions. So in terms of what you list, there's 2 strategies. You can go with a branded shop and sell only one type, or just a general shop and you sell everything. We recommend if you're just starting out, just do a general shop and just copy and paste, and whatever it may be, home decor, automotive, home and garden, whatever. And then just have a general store.
Yeah, and there's higher level strategies of product research that you can do. But if you just want to wing this and you're I just want to start listing products, one good way to figure out what to sell, go to mainstream websites. Again, we're going to mention them, go to Amazon, go to Walmart, go to those mainstream websites and see what they're selling. And that's a really good indication of what's in style right now. So just right now, I don't know about you guys, but it is so hot where we live right now. So, pool things, floaties, water guns. I mean, things that outdoors for people to get wet is super huge. Also patio furniture, home decor is usually always in and always selling, rugs, kitchen, literally the sky is the limit. It just comes down to you sitting down. I love to say this, just go act like you're shopping. One of our students, Floor, she has made so much money and her strategy is she just goes to eBay and she acts like she's shopping and she loves it. And she just lists things that she likes and she posts it. And like I said, there are higher strategies in product research where you can see what is selling well and list similar items like that. But in the beginning, just list when it comes down to it, just take action, just list products.
Yes. I love this. Nicole said, hey, I ordered once from a drop shipper and the product was out of stock and the drop shipper just communicated with me, offered me something else. And I bought that. I think they lost a little money, but I was still happy. And that's super sweet because you're running a business here. If you like instead of making $10, you only make $1, but you made a customer happy. That's cool, right? Because you're running a business here. This is a legit business. You're not trying to just like never communicate with the customers. Okay, one question came in about like how, and we hit this just a little bit, but just hit it again because you guys, the name is 10-minute workday. Like how time consuming is this to find products, list products, when an order comes in, put the order in, like it sounds time consuming on the surface, but I know there's hacks. So, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about that, but like, how about this? How much do you guys spend? How much time do you guys spend on your Facebook shop side of the business?
Yeah. So we started in 2020. And at the time I was doing everything myself. He was working full time. I had 2 little kids at the time. I was cranking away because I had like 50 to 100 orders a day to fulfill. So I didn't mind putting in that work because I was making so much money that like it didn't bother me. But as it grew, it wasn't sustainable to do that. And that's why we developed 10-minute workday. So the best example for this, and it's crazy, I do not fulfill any orders now. I do not talk to any of my customers. Everything is automated. And we're going to get into that, like how to do that and the ease. But I was literally sick in bed for almost 2 months where I could barely get on my phone. And during that time, my entire account was still making sales. I was still making money, even though I wasn't involved. So it really just comes down to, where you're at. Like, are you at a place where you have more money than time? You can easily get this automated very quickly. But if you're at a place where you're like, hey, I don't mind. We have some students who they actually enjoy fulfilling orders because it's like $10 every 5 minutes, every order they fulfill.
That's amazing. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I got most of the questions. If I didn't hit your question, write it down. We'll hit it at the end. So far we covered step 1, the setup strategy, how to set up this method, those 7 steps. Step 2, we talked about the markup method, that simple framework of just like, okay, 1.5x is a great place to start, and where to find some of these products. Who's ready for step number 3, the scale up system? Okay, scale up system. What if you could be a broker for products? I saw someone use that word in the chat. I love it. You're like a product broker on Facebook. There's people on Facebook. There's 3 times the amount of traffic on Facebook than there's Amazon. They're not even trying to make money on e-commerce. What if you could be just the person who supplies products to there? And in that, you could help other brands who want to get their products in front of people. They may be struggling over here, but you just say, hey, let me help you get that product over here. They'll give you a discount on these products. You put them over here and you make money for connecting the dots. So if that sounds good, we're going to go into step 3, the scale up system.
All right. What we just covered so far, guys, is the core content of starting this business. You can take what we told you and go start your own business right now. It's incredible. It's simply, seriously, that easy. But what we're going to talk about now is going to be some more upper level things that you can do to take this and turn this into passive income, number 1, and turn this into something that scales. So you're making more than just a side hustle. This can become a legit business and you can, support yourself on this potentially. All right. I never make promises for people. This is a business, which means business is sometimes spelled W-O-R-K, right? But I like to tell people like the potential here is so huge. All right. So scale up system, time freedom. You can fully outsource this business. This is what's crazy, guys. The tasks that we just shared with you are very simple tasks. We're talking about copying and pasting stuff on the internet, right? So this is something that you can find someone from, say, the Philippines or somewhere overseas, a virtual assistant who you can train to do this for you, and you'll just completely automate this. It's pretty incredible. When I start to talk about hiring people, some people freeze up like, oh my gosh, like I can't handle the concept of managing people, right? That's a lot. But the crazy thing about this is all done through the internet, right? And so you're just like texting back and forth, super simple. For members in our mastermind community, we actually provide a complete training for virtual assistants. So we will literally train our member students or our students VAs for them, right? But anyone can do this on your own. I did on my own, and then you can totally do it on your own, right? So you can totally fully outsource this business. And VAs are very low cost. I'm talking $2 an hour, $3 an hour. The first thing that comes to most people's minds when I say that is abuse, right? But when you look at all these other countries, like with their economies, what you're paying them is the equivalent to a full-time, decent, a good income. One of our friends we met from the Philippines we told them how much we were paying our VAs, and she's like, "You're kidding! Like you're paying them what some doctors get paid in the Philippines." And we were like, "What? Like it's nothing, right?" So it's insane. You can totally change someone's life, helps you, helps your business, and leverages it. All right. So from there, 10 minutes a day. It's 10-minute work day. We've gotten to the point, and I'm not even doing that. Like we're not even spending 10 minutes a day on this. So when you get to that point, you can start to generate passive income. Now, what we've covered so far is called retail drop shipping. And this is what 99% of the people who talk about Facebook drop shipping are doing. Maybe you have tried Facebook drop shipping before. Maybe you have failed. Maybe you feel like you can't be competitive or something like that. Retail drop shipping, you're just taking products that are readily available on the internet and you're posting them on Facebook. You're just taking them, listing them one time directly to your Facebook shop. Now, just with this business model alone, what if you were able to do more than that, right? I mean, even just with this business model, this is one of our members in our mastermind program, Ignacio. He did $119,000 in 8 months. Floor, she did $15,398 in 30 days. That's in 1 month, guys. And by the way, that's profit. So I never like to show these numbers to overhype this. I just want to show you guys like the potential of what can happen with this.
These are real people just like you these are the numbers that they hit. And like Dustin said, this is the potential. You have to put the work into it and you have to put in the grind to get to the place where you have it automated, but just think with us for a moment, like the potential of where this could take you.
Yeah. So what if you could go to a whole nother level? What if instead of buying products from retail suppliers, you could buy from wholesale suppliers? So now you're getting the products at such a good deal. You can even give your customer a deal, right? And how does that make you feel? Like special, right? Like I can be as legit as anyone out there. Not to say that it's not legit to do retail drop shipping, but you're just able to offer that service a whole nother level. Well, there's one thing about trying to sell products wholesale on Facebook. It's lower cost, more competitive. You can build a brand, all good things, right? However, Facebook and wholesale suppliers right now today do not have an easy way to make that connection. So it's difficult to take products from a wholesale supplier and copy and paste them to your Facebook profile. There's no automations available for this. Facebook is the Wild West, right? This is a new business. And so even Facebook is growing in that way. But what if there was a way that you could be ahead of the curve? You could be ahead of the ball and you could use wholesale suppliers. Well, what I'm going to show you is something called the Hub. Rather than listing your products directly to your Facebook shop, you connect with wholesale suppliers. You open an account with them, and you use what we call the Hub. You can actually integrate it directly with your supplier, list it to the Hub, and then the Hub connects to your Facebook shops. Now, this is a great connection that Facebook loves because Facebook likes to work with real businesses who are actively selling things. By doing this, you're showing Facebook that that's what you are, right? So it's super integrated. All right. So
and when Facebook shops launched, you guys, they actually wanted people to use it this way. And we kind of everyone doing the Facebook drop shipping, retail drop shipping, that was that still works for sure. But Facebook actually intended shops to work this way is actually to connect with other hubs. Because again, they don't want to be the main platform. They just want to be a place where people hang out. And so actually when you play Facebook's game and you do what they want, they will reward you for that.
Yeah. Facebook created shops to be a sales channel for existing businesses to sell existing products. Some people come into this business and they look at it as Facebook as an e-commerce platform. Facebook is not an e-commerce platform. It's a social media platform. And you can leverage the power of what Facebook can do to sell on that platform, right? So list to the Hub, goes to a Facebook shop. Now, the cool thing about this is when you start working with wholesale suppliers, you are going to have the doors open for you unlike any other way, because there are many wholesale suppliers who are ready and waiting for you to source their products. Some of them even provide you with marketing materials to promote these products. Most of them have ways that you can instantly list these products to your Facebook. So you're no longer copying text. You're no longer copying images. You literally click a button and it goes into your shop. So it saves you a lot of time. So here's an example I want to show you of one wholesale supplier that we use. They have this list here of products, and they'll even tell you which ones are hot sellers.
So if you're struggling with like, I don't know what to list, there are wholesale suppliers that will tell you what to list.
Yeah, so it's incredible. And then right there, you see on the right-hand side on the bottom of each line here, it says imported. That's because I imported this into my shop. With one click, I had that product into my shop. It makes it super easy. Now, what we're going to get into now is something that I like to call the pinball machine. This is a strategy. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody else is teaching this. This is a way to take products. You list them into your Facebook shop. And from there, it doesn't just sit in Facebook's platform. That product will now spread all over the entire internet. And you're going to have it bounce around all over the place out there. And you're going to be getting traffic from other outside sources to your Facebook shop. Now, this is why this is so exciting. Remember how I told you like Facebook's platform charges 5%? And oh, by the way, it's free right now. If you can harness the power of getting traffic from everywhere and using Facebook as your fulfillment platform for your e-commerce business, you are going to be 10 levels up from what most people are doing in the world of e-commerce. So pinball machine, think pinball machine.
All right, so I think it's like, people that are like Dustin and Rachel are very ahead of the curve. You guys, like I can say this honestly, because we've seen this space. Like we have our hands really deep on Amazon. We're ahead of the curve on Amazon. Rachel and Dustin really went off on this, like, let's pioneer this new thing. And we've just been watching them for the last year. Like, all right, guys, go for it. Good luck. It's a Wild West out there. And most people have a pinball machine. Like they don't even have a pinball machine. They have like a little hammer and they're shooting a ball trying to hit one target on Facebook. But what Rachel and Dustin have figured out how to do is when you pull that hammer back once and let it go, your product is going to bounce around and hit so many different, like it's going to be seen by so many different people. And that's really the magic of the pinball machine method here, is that you do the work once of listing this, like this chart, one time to the hub. And then they have created a system to get your product to bounce around the internet for a while and get like more eyes, because the more eyes, the more people seeing your product on social media for free, right? Not even running ads or anything like that. The more chances you have of sales. And it really is like, you have 10,000 views, you'll see this many sales. If you have 100,000 views, you'll see this many sales, because we're already listing hot selling products. It's just about getting them in front of people.
Awesome. All right. So from there, from your hub, it's going to go into Facebook Shops, and Facebook Shops is what's part of what's called the Meta ecosystem. Facebook is now called Meta, right? They changed their name, and Meta owns a lot of other platforms besides just Facebook. They own Instagram and WhatsApp and probably every other business out there. No, just kidding. So from Facebook, it can go to your Facebook Marketplace, and you have the potential, if you have a connection, to be shown there. But not only does it go to Facebook Marketplace, but it goes all over Facebook, depending on whether or not Facebook determines that your product is going to be desired by a customer. Here's what's crazy, guys. What other platform do you have everyone in the entire world, not everyone, but like, in the United States for the most part, going on there every single day and telling them what they like and what they don't like every single day? That's Facebook. So in terms of marketing, Facebook is the most powerful advertising platform in the world, because they have all this information on people. And so they will dynamically take products and put them in front of people if they believe that is something that's going to serve that person, right? That's what's so cool about it.
And this is another reason Facebook's pushing this, is because Facebook makes money off your data, right? To be honest, right? Like their biggest revenue source is their advertising. The more they learn about their customers, the more they can charge for their advertising. And guess what's the most valuable information to people running advertising? What do people buy on Facebook? And so that's why they're pushing this thing so hard, because they don't need to make money here. They're going to make money over there.
Yeah, definitely. So 46% of all e-commerce channels are going to be, sellers are going to be multi-channel by 2023. That's the future of e-commerce. So rather than just sticking inside one platform, we want to be able to branch out and make sales in other places, right? So here's what's incredible. You can connect a Google business account to your Facebook shop, and now your products will be shown across the greater internet. So in search results, your products can show up, and your shop can actually rank in Google SEO for people to see your products. And it goes even bigger than that, guys. From your hub, you can have a bunch of different tools that integrate with this. So you can have your products automatically sent out to Pinterest, Google Merchant, those things, and even your hub will rank on search results. And then from there, this is what's so cool, guys. Traffic. You get traffic from all over the internet going straight to your Facebook shop.
Yeah, so this is what's so crazy about this business model is that you literally from your living room or wherever you are can run this, leverage the internet, leverage suppliers, list those products to your shop, and then be seen all over the internet. And something Dustin has said several times is, you can't expect to just list like random cheapy products that no one's searching for.
Go take some grass out of your lawn and post it. It's probably not going to sell, right?
Right. But this system, if you use it properly and you list the right products and you have it all connected, it looks like a lot of moving pieces, right? But once you have it all connected, these are one-time connection things you do. Once you list it to the hub, it goes to all those places. So it's basically like doing the same work, but receiving 10 times the results doing the same work once you get it all set up.
Yes.
So
all right, I'd like to open it up for some questions. Stephen, what kind of questions do we have coming in the chat? And
yeah, so just to recap, you guys, the scale up system. Okay, this is really the path because, like in Rainmakers, we're all about increasing your financial freedom, but also increasing your time freedom. Okay, we don't want to just say, hey, get another 60-hour week job, right? Because in what we do in Rainmakers, we want to increase your time freedom too. We want to make sure you have more time with your family, more time to travel, more time to do the things that are in your heart, those big, deeper whys. And so I was like, Rachel and Dustin, we cannot bring this to Rainmakers until you can make it passive, right? And so the two combination here of the scale up system is one, working with virtual assistants to take away the busy work of the business. Of course, it's good to learn it yourself. So that way, when you replace yourself, you know how to do that, right? And they've created a system. They even train people. They even have a library full of virtual assistants who are hungry for this type of work. And so that's the way that they've made this passive, and the business was able to run. Rachel is super sick in pregnancy, and Chelsea went through something like that too. It's terrible, right? Chelsea could not do anything, right? Except for just grow a baby, which is an amazing thing, right? But Rachel was the same way. And it's like her business was still running without her. That's the key. You go on vacation, you can lean the business if you want, or you can tune out and it still runs. And that's where I was like, when they figured that out, I was like, we got to bring this to Rainmakers. Number two, a lot of businesses rely on advertising. The reason we love Amazon is because there's already people there, right? You don't have to pay for a ton of advertising because people are already there looking for your products. Similarly, Facebook is in this season right now where, yeah, you can run ads on Facebook, but for the shops specifically, if you leverage this hub system, you can blast your product out to a ton of people. And I don't know, we didn't, do you guys have that slide showing the shop that you had that made 16,000 or something like that, and where the traffic source came from? I feel like that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Pull that up in the background while I keep going. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, because a lot of people have tried Facebook Marketplace dropshipping in our community specifically, and they are using the retail dropshipping method, which is still working, but people are hitting walls with it. And to scale it, they're just trying to do it more. They're trying to add more time to their plate, hire more VAs, or just like hustle harder, right? But when they ran this test store and you guys actually managed 12 done for you stores where you just like did it for people just to really learn this process. So show this screenshot, because this is like, when I saw this, I was like, this is new. This is different. So if you tried Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, you saw like a drop off in the spring of this year. Facebook changed your algorithm. If you've been shopping on Facebook Marketplace and you noticed the listings kind of changed differently, Facebook changed something, and this is what they changed.
Yeah,
we're trying to get to it. And while you're touching on it, this is like a very, very high level view of this whole system. And so there's people that come into this group. I'm sure if you're watching right now, I'm sure there are dozens and dozens of people who've never listed a product online before. And, we're talking to you as well as the person who has tried Facebook dropshipping. So wherever you are, and we're going to get into in just a moment, like going deeper into like what all is included if you were to do this business model. But no matter where you are, there is an option for you. So if you've never listed a product before, you're going to start with the more basic system. And then as you grow in your e-commerce journey, you can grow to these higher ticket or higher level strategies.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we found it.
All right, we found it. So this is especially going to speak to any of our listeners who have tried Facebook before. Can everybody see my screen? Got
Yeah.
the bar showing up here. You see
Got
my
it.
screen here, Steven?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So what this is, do you want to go for it?
Yeah. So the Facebook news feeds, that is the traffic. So this is in your shop and your e-commerce manager. This is telling you where your traffic is coming from. And the Facebook news feeds, that's basically categorizes anything like that can be web searches like your Google My Business. That is where that's coming from. That's basically outside traffic from Facebook Marketplace. They categorize it all under Facebook news feeds. Facebook shop search, that's like if someone was on Facebook and they typed in, kayaks and you're selling kayaks. So that's going to show up under that. But these two numbers right here, that's 25,000 people plus 21,000 people found your listings outside of Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people think Facebook drop shipping is all about the marketplace connection. But as you can see in this example, the $16,000, only 4,500 of those customers came from Marketplace. This is why you don't have to have the marketplace connection to still make money with these new strategies. And a lot of the reason we discover this is because Dustin and I have a heart for our students to be successful. And when they were hitting walls and they would come in, they're like, I can't even get a shop approved. I can't get the marketplace connection. We're like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a bigger picture here that we're missing and that we're not seeing. And that's why we've taken the last 6 months to dig super deep into this, hire Facebook experts, not necessarily Facebook drop shippers, but Facebook experts who knew the answers to the algorithms and to these different things that we were seeing our students have problems with. And that's when we discovered that marketplace is just a tiny little piece of the puzzle. Like you don't have to rely on the marketplace connection to generate these sales. And when that happened, our eyes were open. We had an aha moment, like, oh my goodness, we've been focusing just on marketplace and we have the potential to focus on so much more.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy seeing like 5,000-ish people on Marketplace saw that, those products, and almost like 5 times the amount on some of those other channels. That most people who are doing this strategy right now are not like doing those other methods that are tapping those way higher potential amounts of people. So that's really the power of connecting your product to a hub. Now, there was a ton of questions about the hub. What is the hub? What is the hub? What is the hub? So just simply, you guys, like the hub is a website that is partnered with Facebook. So Facebook has different integrations, and there's a lot of different websites that can do this. But the recommended website that Dustin and Rachel use is Shopify. Okay, Shopify. So I know that brings up a lot of other questions, but really this is not your traditional Shopify site. People think, oh no, now I got to code a website and all these things. But the hub is simply a shell of a website. It's a very simple no code website. And you set this up once. Okay, you set this up once. You connect it to the Facebook. You make those other connections to the other things in the pinball machine. You're like adding the bumpers and all the things. And so that when you list your product to hub, it's like releasing that hammer, you're hitting the ball and it's going to bounce around all over the internet forever. I mean, maybe not forever, but it bounces around a lot. It gets seen by a lot of people. You guys just saw those stats. And so all you have to do is list things on Shopify, the hub. Okay. Super simple, no code website. Doesn't even need to be fancy. No one's ever even visiting the website because you're making all your sales on Facebook. Okay. It bounces all around Facebook. It gets sales. People pay you on Facebook. The money comes back through the hub into your bank account. And so that's super simply how it works. Of course, like in a 90-minute workshop, we can't go into every single nitty-gritty detail, but what questions do you guys have about the scale up strategy? We have one other bonus thing for you guys here at the end. So what questions do you guys have about that scale up strategy? Before we go on to the bonus section here. Okay. So people are asking questions about Shopify. I know if I told you about Shopify, you're going to have so much questions. Really, it could be any website, and you guys already bought a domain name. But the best one, like these guys dug into this with a Facebook expert, the best one that Facebook favors the most, they have really like a partnership with, is Shopify. This isn't building a fancy website. I mean, like you guys have seen people do this with like literally like a black page. This is like a black page. They just use it to just literally click the button to upload, because also wholesalers love Shopify because there's a lot of integrations and things that make your life so much easier. Okay. So much easier.
Absolutely. And someone asked like, oh, do I have to have a Shopify? And that's why I said, again, depends on where you're at. If you've never listed a product in Marketplace before, then the best place for you to start is just to copy and paste listings from eBay to Marketplace. You could even go even more basic than that and just list products from eBay to your personal marketplace without even setting up a shop. So you do not have to have a Shopify. That is something that you can work up towards as you build confidence, as you start seeing, some sales. But we like to give you guys the big picture, and that's what this workshop is for, to show you that this is so huge. The potential of using the hub, and like, that's why we didn't say Shopify, because some people have heard of Shopify, some people have never heard of Shopify, but this is not Shopify dropshipping. There's a huge distinction between Shopify dropshipping and what we're teaching you with leveraging Facebook as the traffic source.
Yeah. And one thing I want to mention here too, like using Shopify as the hub is a strategy, it's the pinball machine, right? It's a strategy that we teach in our mastermind to help people scale up an existing business. So if you're just starting out in this, I would advise not to go straight to a Shopify and try to connect that to a Facebook shop, because there's very specific ways that you have to do this. We've seen people who have messed up their Facebook accounts because they did it the wrong way. So we're really giving you our secret sauce here in terms of like, this is on an upper level, like this is what we're doing in order to build this pinball machine, right? And make this work.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have?
What do you guys say? Like, someone was asking, like, how, like, let's say I go all in with this thing. Like, I love this strategy. Step one, you guys, it kind of took you from like beginner to advanced here. We wanted to give you the basic step one, step two, and then give you the vision. So like, if you want to go after this thing, you know where you're going. And this is the vision that no one else is doing. Like, no one else in this space is teaching that step three. That is very high level. And we asked you guys keep that within our community because that's next level. So we want to give you the whole roadmap, but let's say someone's today, they're like, I feel like I could do this. I'm all in. Like, how long roughly would it take someone who's a newbie to start working with you guys and see that, a profit?
Great question. So originally we designed our program to be a year-long program. That was how we started our mastermind. But then we started realizing that a year is just too much time. Like, people didn't need an entire year to set up and run this business and get results.
And when you have an entire year, you put it off usually.
Right.
So we're like, how can we get people the quickest wins possible? And so what we're going to walk you through in just a moment is our whole 10-minute workday program. But we have designed it where you should be able to get up and running to that scale up vision in 3 months. And the reason for that is, again, you have to take it step by step. There's some people who come in, you might already have a shop and you're like ready to go. And there's some people you've never listed a product to Marketplace before. And that's why we created the 10-minute workday, because yes, everything we showed you on this call, you could go figure it out yourself. And we've had to trial and error things a lot ourselves. And that's why we came and created this program, because we knew people needed more help than that. And so that's why we created a full mastermind course that walks you through step by step, holds your hand on how to do these different things. If you're a brand new beginner, we're going to show you how to copy a listing, how to paste it, how to get it into your marketplace. And then we're going to walk you through, how to set up the Shopify for your hub and how to properly connect it to Marketplace, to your Facebook shop.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you guys are like, again, this workshop, we wanted to empower you guys with some information, take it and run. That's totally fine. But if you guys are okay with it, we would love to spend just like the last 10 minutes before we go into a Q&A time, hit any questions that we missed, showing you guys something that I'm super proud of Rachel and Dustin for creating. And that's the full 10-day workday, 90-day accelerator. Are you guys okay if we just take 10 minutes to show you that? Just for people like who want to go from, hey, maybe I sold a couple things on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe I've never sold anything online, to I want to create an income source for my family that I can do from anywhere, that I can build and then slowly build myself out of, so that it pays me even if I'm traveling, even if I'm sick, even if, like I take 3 months off from the business, it's still paying me. And something that I can scale. I can make $1,000 a month, $5,000, $10,000. I can scale to 6 figures a year, potentially using the strategy. Who is open to that? Now, the bigger picture too is who's open to building an asset that you can actually sell. You can go to websites right now like Flippa or BizBuySell, and you can see wholesale drop shipping businesses like this for sale. They're selling for 450,000, a million, $2.5 million. And that's the cool thing. And what we do in Rainmakers is we don't do stuff that's just fleeting. We don't do stuff that is like here today, gone tomorrow. We're building assets, things with ownership, things that you could be proud of that you can actually sell at some point. If you do this for 2 years, you set it up with VAs, you ride that passive income for years to come. And then someday maybe you're like, you know what? I see a beach house, with my name on it, and I need $400,000 for the down payment. And you end up selling the business for 1.5 million. You got money to go and you buy the beach house. Okay. So whatever that thing is in your heart, you are building an asset with this business. And that's the cool part about working with wholesalers. It's way more valuable than just retail drop shipping. Just these other things are unreliable, and we can build off free traffic on Facebook, which is amazing. So you guys cool with that? We spend 10 minutes on that real fast, and we'll do some Q&A. I see a lot of yeses already. Cool.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'll show you what we built for you guys here. So this is our website. It's 10minworkday.com. So it's 10min workday.com. And so we've got two different strategies in here, right? So 10 Minute Workday Academy, that is the full step-by-step training on the first section of this training that you have gotten a part into, right? And so that's going to show you how to copy and paste listings, put it into a Facebook shop, how to market that and everything, and do it the right way so that you get traffic. And then also we have our Scale Up Masterclass. That's the pinball machine, right? That's the system that we've created to get your traffic out there even farther. So we're including both of these together in this offer here. So everything that's in here, we have something called Move the Needle Roadmap. One of the biggest needs that we saw from people coming into our program was they were just like overwhelmed with all this information. Like there's so many potential things that you can do with this, and the possibilities are endless. Where do I even start, right? So we've organized every lesson in chronological order, and we've got this guide in here to help make sure that you get through this from day 1 all the way up until day 90, right? Personalized coaching. So for the entire 90 days, we are including weekly coaching calls. And what that is Rachel and I, and we've got some other coaches on our program, will come on, answer your questions every single week live in a group coaching session.
And in addition to that, it's a mastermind group. So it's just like a Facebook mastermind group where, if you can't make that coaching call, you can post your questions within the mastermind community. And that is seriously one of the most valuable things, because just like reading the chat, when you start a new business, you are going to have questions. You're going to, you need the big picture to be presented. And those questions you have, they might not be fully answered within the content of the course because every situation is unique and different. And so there is so much value to having people who've gone ahead of you and they know the answers to those questions, and you have 24/7 access to ask the questions that you are going through to move on to the next step, and not just be stuck with trying to figure out what button to click next.
Also,
I would say
go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, one of those things too that I told these guys is a course is not enough. Like having hand holding in the process. That's what we do a lot of our stuff in community. You get accountability, you get the momentum of going in a group of people. And so that's why they're launching this 90-day accelerator where you get personalized coaching throughout the journey as you guys are launching this income stream. So any walls that you come up into, you get the power of the community as well as coaching that happens every single week to get you through those walls. And the goal is at the end of the 9 days, you have this thing set up. So in the chat, would you trade 90 days of your life and a couple of coaching calls, a little bit of your time to set something up like this? I know I would. And we hopped into this program as well with a ton of our Rainmakers from our mastermind. We're going to be setting this up together.
Yeah. Awesome. So we also have the full Dropshipping Academy. That's the 10-minute workday, how to do this. And also the passive income blueprint. So that's where we show you how to automate this business. And like Stephen said, get to the point where you can go and look at that beach house, right? After a few years of building something and potentially even building a whole brand, right? So we teach you how to deal with virtual assistants, how to hire, how to deal with their culture, like how to work in a way that is the simplest, easiest, helps with communication. We even train your virtual assistants for you. I have an entire program that I built, a course just for virtual assistants. You literally copy and paste the link to that program, paste it in a message to them. They go through it. It's dynamic. It's got questions in there they have to answer to basically take a test. And so that's going to shortcut that learning curve for you so much faster to automate this business.
This one is huge, you guys, because I see so many people hire virtual assistants. And I mean, if you've never hired a virtual assistant before, you don't know how to hire a great virtual assistant. And they expect love at first hire. And it isn't that case because they haven't followed a system. We're actually having Rachel and Dustin come into our highest level program, a $15,000 program, and train them on hiring virtual assistants because they've really dialed in the system, and you literally get training on that. You get access to virtual assistants that they already have trained on this. And you can even plug the virtual assistant into the training program to say, hey, you watch these videos. Like, you literally don't have to train them. Like, how do you think, I've never worked at McDonald's. Okay. But how do you think McDonald's trains all their employees to do the same exact thing across all of America? You go to any McDonald's, every burger tastes the same, right? It's like they follow a checklist, they follow a training system. They plug any employee in to the training system, and that employee knows exactly how to make the burger taste that way, right? Also, they just microwave them.
Exactly. Yeah, one thing I want to throw in here too, like at the end of the day, when you're working with virtual assistants, you're working with people. So these are people that they're going to have their own learning curve and things like that. That's why we created this training program. You'll have to hold their hand a little bit more the first week. Obviously they'll be getting up to speed, ask you some questions. That's why we always recommend before you try to outsource, make sure you understand something yourself, just to the point where you're able to teach it to someone, right? That makes sure that you're firm in your own understanding. So in addition to that, we've got the Shop Scale Up Traffic system. That's where we show you the pinball machine. And then as a bonus, I'm going to throw in my own dropshipping manager sheets. This is a series of tools that I've created, which it's really the secret of like how I've been able to get to the point where it's only 10 minutes a day for me, where you're really automating this using some automated things that we've created there. And then also the mastermind community, that's a bonus that we throw in. During that entire 90 days of having coaching and access to support, you get the mastermind community. There's tons of awesome sellers in there, amazing people, multiple six-figure sellers. We've got some of the most amazing minds in e-commerce in here. So this is something that you will also have access to as a part of the program. So the total value of everything. Go ahead, Stephen.
This is a total value of $14,000. You guys don't worry. Don't jump off the call. We're not charging $14,000 for this. But like, I always like to just pause and say, like, would it be worth it to pay $14,000 to have a stream of income? I mean, you saw you could set up a test store that made more than $14,000 in 30 days. Like, would it be worth it to build this skill set on a platform that's emerging? Like, you could see why people would pay $14,000 for this. And people do. There's automation companies that people pay like $10,000, $15,000 to set something up like this for them. And they're still using outdated strategies that aren't fully utilizing the hub and the pinball strategy that Dustin and Rachel are really pioneering. I mean, haven't you seen that, Dustin and Rachel? Like, it's like 10.
Yeah, we've reached out to several automation companies that are just really setting up your Facebook shop, listing products with no guarantee of how much you'll make. And it's a $10,000 right up front fee just for that.
Plus $1,000 a month. And then they take 30% of all of your profits. So guys, this is shortcutting the system. Like, you're able to do this on your own, automate this on your own. All right. So $14,000, like Stephen said, if we were to charge that, there are people who would pay that, right? But obviously we're not going to charge that. So today, $14.97 is what we've put this together for you guys. I put a little video here to give you like a view inside of the program of like, what's inside the course. If you want to take a peek at that video as well, obviously some testimonials in here, you can check that out. So when you go to join, what you do is just click join now, wherever it has one of these buttons. And then from there, it's going to have you put in your information. Now, the thing that confuses people when they first get into this is they're like, wait a minute, I don't know what the final price is at, or I don't see like the billing part at the end, and they put their information in first. Don't worry, you can fill this out because there is actually a discount code that we're going to have for you guys for being on this training. So Stephen, did you want to talk about that at all before I go to the next page?
Yeah. So when you guys get to this page, and again, this is exclusive just for people that are on this workshop. Okay. So don't go sharing this all around the internet.
Right.
But go to this page. I believe when I went here, it did ask me for like a password. That's just like your account password you're going to be using to log into the training portal and things like that. Okay. So make up a password there, fill out your name, your billing information, hit continue. It'll take you to a page that looks like this. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so then right here, just put in your payment information, use discount code family22. And what that's going to do, just hit apply code, and it's going to give you $500 off the price.
Yeah, and that's the code is guys, is just for you on this call. So it's all caps, family 2022, sorry, family 22. And we wanted to just give that to everyone on this call as a special rate to knock off $500, just to make this an easier decision for you if this is something that you see yourself doing.
Right. Yeah, and
I love it, you guys.
we designed this page so that you guys be able to do this right now. But if you come back to this after Friday, that code is not going to work anymore. So I'm serious. Like, this is just an offer we're giving for this week for fast action takers.
Yeah, and if you are in the mastermind group, our Rainmaker mastermind group, we did give you guys early access to that, and we gave you guys a savings code unique to the mastermind group as well. So make sure you go look at the mastermind group right now, and you have your own code. But if you're on this link, like, this is an amazing price, you guys, and this is going to stay open just until Friday. So I would hop into this thing. You can start your 90 days. They'll get you onboarded. What happens right after they sign up? They'll walk them through the onboarding process a little bit and what they can expect to get in the next couple of days.
Yeah. So once you sign up, you'll be sent 2 emails. Now, a lot of people miss these emails, so make sure you're checking your spam folder, your trash folder, but you'll always receive 2 emails. The first email is going to give you the login information to the course. Now, the first login information you get is to the full 10-minute workday program, and you'll be able to see all the information. Your second email is going to have a link in there to get connected to our mastermind community. Once you request to join the mastermind community, you'll get in there. We're going to onboard you, make sure you're set up, make sure you have access to everything. And then within 24 hours of purchasing, you will receive access to that bonus masterclass, Scale Up Masterclass course. The reason that is right now, those are 2 separate courses. So we used to sell these things separately, but as this one-time offer for you guys today, we're combining it. And so we'll automatically give you access to the Scale Up Masterclass. So just allow about 24 hours for that to be activated, and then you'll have access to both full programs. And then again, that email with the link to join the mastermind program.
Yeah. So as soon as you click complete order, you're going to get an automatic email within 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to give you the logins to the 10-minute workday program, which is our core content that we showed you in the beginning. And then, like Rachel said, within 24 hours from that, we're going to manually add you to the Scale Up Masterclass. And then when you go in to log into your course platform, you're going to have both programs there with access to both.
So good, you guys. So good. Hey, I just want to appreciate you guys for bringing this high-level information to this crew during this workshop. We hope you guys are leaving like, hey, I could take action on this thing. But if you want to go further, you want to have the handholding, you want to have the fast and easier path to creating income through this, and you don't have to like go through the weeds yourself, this is the way to go at the lowest price you're ever going to see. These guys do sell this program outside of our community for a much higher price point. They're giving us an amazing deal. So hop into this thing. If you're on the fence about it, we want to answer some questions. We want to stick around in this room to answer questions for anyone that has questions. I did see a question about like the timelines. So just to clarify the timeline, it is proven, like you guys, that humans focus really well in 90-day chunks. Like we have seasons, right? We got like 4 seasons, 90 days at a time, right? For the year. We have business quarters. Like people just do really well with focuses like this. And this is why this program is a 90-day sprint. Okay. And it's not even a sprint. Okay. You just have to put a little bit of time in every week, every day, to put effort towards this thing. If you don't do the work, you're not going to see results. This isn't just a get rich click a button and you're making money, right? You do have to follow the steps just like we showed you in this video, but they're going to be slow paced. You can pause the video of the full training course. You got to put the time in, but 90 days, you put the time in, you're going to see results with this program. You're going to build something, and you may even have a virtual assistant working for you, running the business for you at that point. And if at the end of that 90 days, your virtual assistant, let's say, needs to log in and go visit the training, you have lifetime access to the training portal. Okay. So the one-on-one, like the personalized group coaching that happens within their community, that's the 90-day sprint, right? You're doing it in a group, you have momentum. There's a bunch of people hopping in right now doing it together. That's kind of like a wave of people doing this thing together. But you do have lifetime access to the training portal, which will always be updated with, Facebook is changing all the time. This is these guys like outside of their 10-minute workday, this is their full-time job. Like this is what takes the most time out of their lives right now. But they are committed to impact, like we are, helping other families break poverty off their life, create financial freedom. And this is one of the ways. Like honestly, when people come into our mastermind and they want to grow an Amazon business, we say, hey, if you need some capital, this is a great way to start. If you like, especially people come into our program who are like, they're stretched thin, they may not have money to buy 1,000 units of inventory for Amazon, right? And so we say, hey, start here, create some money on Facebook, build some money up, and then invest in Amazon. That's totally fine. Like there are multiple ways to make income within this Rainmaker family. And this is definitely one of those ways. So let's go ahead. You guys see a question in the chat you wanted to hit?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to touch on something real quick. I see someone make a comment like, it'd be nice if it actually worked that way, right? We don't share anything that we share on this call to overhype this. And to be honest with you guys, we do not need more students in our program. We have enough students right now. So this is an opportunity for you guys. If you want to get in on this, we're making this available for people in the Rainmaker community. So take advantage of it. If you want it, great. If not, that's okay. We're not any worse for wear. So all right. Any other questions? Stephen, do you see any questions here?
What about time per day average? Like if someone's like looking at their calendar, their planner, they're like, okay, realistically, how much time should I spend per day? Or maybe better per week? Because this isn't like you got to clock in every day type of business. If you guys want to take a day off, it's fine, right? But like, let's say per week, what would you say your students are typically leaning into when they're learning some of the content and they're building the systems?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on where you're at when you join and where you want to go. So if you are just listing products to your shop, you can spend, I'm going to say per day, because that's just easier for me to think about when I think about our students. They spend about 30 minutes to an hour listing or fulfilling orders. Now that doesn't include it does take time to like set up, maybe like 30 minutes, like set up your shop, and there's different things that take time, but those are one-time things you have to do to run the business. So once everything is set up to run the business, the time you're spending is fulfilling the orders and listing more products and maintaining your page. And that's the core to what you should be outsourcing, because when you can pay someone $3 an hour to do those tasks for you, you can focus on the vision of where you want to go with your business. And so in the beginning, I mean, 30 minutes to an hour a day. If you get like a ton of orders and you don't have a virtual assistant yet, it might take you more time to fulfill those orders, but you're making money as you're working, if that's why it's taking you longer. But in the beginning, if you're just like listing products, easily 30 minutes to an hour.
Cool. That's awesome. Now I do see a lot of questions about last year in the fall. We did launch a like intro to this method called Shop Secrets. We're hearing some questions about what's the difference between this and Shop Secrets. So maybe explain that, as well as maybe show the diagram, because I think that's a helpful visual just to kind of see like, I think I made an analogy in the mastermind, like Shop Secrets, it's like undergrad. This is like your master's degree, right? But explain it more just for people that maybe have Shop Secrets and are thinking about jumping into the full academy.
Yeah, so Shop Secrets, that was, like Steve said, a mini course that we offered only inside of Rainmaker. So that's not something that we even had publicly offered. That was based on the retail dropshipping business model. This is completely different in that we are showing you the wholesale dropshipping business model. So you're getting things for a lower price, you're marking that up, and you're being more competitive and things like that. Also, the pinball machine, that is, guys, we're like the point of the sword right now in this industry. So nobody else has done this strategy except us. So that is something that is new, that was not included in that mini course. And you guys are getting access to that through this program. Also,
yeah, and the mini course, you have to think about if you did purchase the mini course or if you saw the mini course, that was not a program. So it was kind of how Stephen talked about earlier, like the value is in the mastermind, right, and the hands-on support. The mini course was really just a set of videos that showed you how to get a shop at that time and how to start listing products. And that strategy is still working, it's still making people money. But just by recent Facebook changes, we're moving away from that strategy to lean more into the hub strategy and the higher level strategies, as well as bring the support that you guys need. Because what came out of Shop Secrets was we realized, oh, wow, people need support. Like that's just how we operate. That's how, if you're going to start a new hobby, you can watch YouTube tutorials, but to have that person come alongside you and teach you how to do it is so much more valuable. So that's the biggest difference. 10-minute workday is a full program with all the strategies. Shop Secrets is just a mini course.
That's great. Stacey said, I bet I could get my 13-year-old to list and fulfill. And yes, you can. And don't you guys have students who have done that? Like had their kids help out with the business?
Yeah, we've had some moms that have their kids come and help them with this. You know, it is kind of monotonous work. So at the end of the day, we like to outsource that when we can, unless your kid just loves, you know, copying, pasting for an hour. But I mean, this is definitely a business that someone like that could do for sure.
That's awesome. Now, someone was asking, when does the 90 days start? Like the 90-day kind of mastermind?
So that starts as soon as from the date of purchase. That's when that starts. Because we want to hit the ground running, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got the training in here available for you to start immediately. And so that's when that program starts.
And then after that 90 days, because I hear some people asking, if you are enjoying the support, you're getting a lot of value out of the coaching calls, and you like being in there, you do have options to continue that support. We either have a monthly fee, or you can buy a package of like 3 to 6 months worth of access to that course and to the mastermind group.
Awesome. There was another question I just saw. What about, someone was asking about like suppliers? Like, do you guys have resources when it comes to these wholesalers? Like, how do we find these people? Do you guys have resources within the academy that show that?
Yeah, great question. We've got a list of suppliers, and we always have new content coming, guys. Like, you know, we've got content on specific suppliers, and then we're always adding to that because new suppliers are always coming up. And, you know, obviously want to take a little time to vet those. And at the end of the day, this is your business. So, you know, we in our program try to teach people not just information, but how to think, right? Because at the end of the day, you'll be standing on your own 2 feet when this is all said and done.
Yeah. And so, but to answer the question, yes, we give a whole list of suppliers. When it comes to the wholesale suppliers, since this is a new business model, we are constantly vetting those right now. And so I think just yesterday we added a new video to the course on a new supplier we found, and we will give you the parameters of how to vet a good wholesale supplier. And there are a lot of options out there for who you can choose.
Awesome. Someone said, I can't start the course immediately upon purchase. What happens with the 90-day access? So just to clarify again, you do have lifetime access to the training portal. That's like the step-by-step videos that walk you through. So, you know, if you can't be a part of the group coaching, that's totally fine. I believe this is still 100% worth it to pay $997 to get this. I do know these guys sell for more, and it probably is going to go up over time as they just continue to add to this thing. So you could just follow the step-by-step videos at any point. You have lifetime access to the step-by-step videos. The 90-day access is really just that kickstart to get you in momentum. If you want to go through it with a group and have, you know, calls where you could hop on, if you're hitting any issues or just have further questions, you have that support in there. You want to do it in community. That's what you get as a part of that, the first 90 days.
Yeah. And someone asked, is the mastermind group included in the 997 purchase? Yes. So everything we just walked through, if you go to the 10minworkday.com, you will see a list of everything that's included in this price today.
Right. That's the website just was sharing my screen on a little bit ago.
Yep. And that is, just to clarify, the Facebook Shops Mastermind. That's not the Rainmaker Mastermind.
Right.
This is a part of the Rainmaker ecosystem. And so a lot of people do use this as a pathway to come into our, oh my gosh, spilling my coffee. Okay.
Oh no. Are you burning?
No, not yet. I always knock this over, but this is a pathway to jump into, you know, building e-commerce, launching an Amazon business. We've had people, you know, leverage methods like these to get into real estate. Like, we are big into don't do all the things, do one thing really well for a season. If you're currently doing Amazon, you want to play around with this too, that's totally fine. We feel these work really well together because Amazon has some waiting time and to be shipping and things like that. You can start building the shop. So we see a lot of people do both in parallel, but just make sure you know thyself and you're not overwhelming yourself trying to do a million things and you're not being effective in one thing. So focus for a season. You can totally do this. You can build this thing. And we've seen crazy results. So there is a question about coaching calls being recorded. You guys record those every week?
Yeah. And I'm seeing questions about the time of day and everything. So right now, just based off our community needs, those coaching calls are every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. That just seems to be the best. That works for most people. You're going to be off work. Your kids might be in bed, and you can just really focus. And then we add coaching calls as needed. So we have one coming up this week. That's a coaching call just for beginner drop shippers.
Bonus call.
And then we also have a higher strategy coaching call. It's twice a month. And those dates are just published monthly, the time and day of those. So we do have a lot of different options for you to try and make it. And then if you can't make the calls, you have access to the full recordings. Those get uploaded to the course as well as in the mastermind group. And you also have the group as a whole. So let's say that you work the night shift on Tuesday evenings, you can post a Loom video, which is just a program that we can see your screen. You can post your question there. So that's the advantage of the mastermind group, is the 24/7 access to be able to post your questions.
That's awesome. Just to say it one more time, 10minworkday.com. You go to that page, put in your information, make sure you use the code FAMILY22, all caps. It only works if it's all caps. You get $500 savings off the program. That's available until Friday. And then the price goes back up to the normal price of $14.97. Someone was asking, let's say I have credit. I'm going to put this on credit because it's not bad debt. It's good debt, right? You're using someone else's money to make money. You're building an asset. You're building a business. So let's say I'm going to use credit to jump into this program. And then let's say I have another $500 on credit, in my limit. How much money do I need up front to really start the business? Like if they're just a planner, they just want to know I have enough money. It's not like Amazon where you get to buy 1,000 units, right? But how much money do you kind of need to start the business?
That's a great question. And again, it's going to come down to where you're at financially. So we have some people who they're bootstrapping it, and we understand that. We've been there before. And if you're that person and you're like, listen, I just don't have a lot of extra money, you can do this manually with no software, with nothing, for free. If you have an eBay, if you have access to eBay, which is free, and you have access to Facebook, which is free, you can list products for free with no investment into anything. Now, is that what we recommend for the best practice? Not really. It's going to take you longer to see results, but that shouldn't stop you from not taking action. If you are in a place where, you gave that example of $500, you just need to make sure you're listing cheaper items where you can float that money, and don't list $100 products where you can only sell 5 items and you're out of the money within your credit. Now, there are startup costs if you want to go the software route. So if you use software to list products for you, ZDrop, is like $20 a month.
Yeah, there's softwares available, but at the end of the day, it depends which strategy you're going for. So if you're just going to do the basic copy and list directly to a Facebook shop, there's softwares you can use to make copy. Are you okay?
I'm sorry. Talking too much.
There's softwares you can use to speed up the copy and paste process, but you don't have to use those. If you're using the hub, to the Shopify or the site to do it, then you can have direct integration with your suppliers to where you don't even need to have any software for that, right? So it just depends on which route you're going.
That's awesome. What about those Tuesday night calls? How long are those? I know some people stress out, I can't make it every Tuesday. I'm totally that way sometimes with groups like this. Those are really you could think of them like clinics, right? They're there if you need them. And if you can't make it, it's not like you're missing crucial content, and you also have those too. They're really there for the hand-holding, the question and answer, hey, I have a very specific question. And these two use that as also research on are there any holes in the content? If everyone's having one problem come up on the thing, they're going to revise the content, because Facebook is changing things all the time. While these guys are running Facebook shops, it's so powerful to have everyone doing it together. And so when Facebook changes a little thing, they can change the course to match that. So that's really a great place to get feedback. But how long do those Tuesday calls usually run?
They usually run about an hour, but we will stay on that call until everyone has their questions answered. And I just completely lost my voice.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. So yeah, but you can generally expect about an hour. That's when usually people are finished answering questions, but we've gone 2 hours on those calls before. It's really their time to really focus and get your questions answered.
Yeah. And if you're in a situation I work the night shift or I can't be there or whatever, you can always email in your questions to our support email, and then we can address those questions on the call for you. And then you just go catch the replay.
Yes, awesome. Now someone was asking the people making money at the beginning, were they doing wholesale or retail? I think this is a fun answer.
Yeah. Originally it was retail. So like Floor and Ignacio, we show their little picture up there. Originally they were just doing retail. So the
And that's
potential
still
is
the best
like,
place to start if you've
yeah, if
never.
you're starting out, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, so it's
So
crazy.
that's how we-
Like again, it's not every single person's story on retail because there's a lot more factors that at play, but like the possibility. And then like when those people start doing the wholesale method, it's going to increase their margins. It's going to increase their traffic. Like I can't wait till someone crosses the $1 million mark with this business. Like that is going to be a fun moment. Hasn't happened yet, I don't think, in your community, but I feel like it's going to happen in the next like year or two. That's pretty wild.
I'm confident it's going to happen soon. You know, this guys, this is like I said, the Wild West. Like this is a brand new thing. Facebook Shops didn't even exist more than a couple of years ago. So we're excited to see where this all goes.
What is I saw this couple come in or question come in a couple different ways. Like, like how soon could I be making $20 a day, $50 a day? Like what is the fastest you've seen?
I mean, we've seen people make money the same day they started. Now, as far as like, does that happen to everyone? No. And like Dustin and I, we never make you a promise because at the end of the day, like we can't control how much you sell, how much you make. But if you're following the system, I mean, you should be making money within your first month easily, starting to get some sales in, as long as you're, listing the products, creating your shop, doing all the right steps, listing the right products. You can see it's one of the fastest ways to make money. I mean, there's no other business that you can, from the day you launch it, you can potentially make money the next day, which is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some people when we do trainings like this, and we've had some where we're like, hey, get your phone, go to eBay, list it to Amazon. Some people have made sales during those calls.
Like literally on the workshop. Yeah, we've seen that happen. Someone was at a clarifying question about like the floating the money, float the money. So just to clarify that, like, you list a product to the hub or to the shop. You don't buy anything. You're just like copying and pasting. You're just like saying, hey, here's a product on the internet for sale. Someone comes along and buys that product. They put down, let's say $20 for that product. That $20 goes into kind of like escrow. It kind of goes into like the Facebook, bank. And then Facebook doesn't release that money until that person receives the product. So that $20 goes into the bank. You go buy the product for $10. You ship it to the customer, and then Facebook releases the money. So there's this like floating period where you've made money, but Facebook hasn't released the money to you yet. And it can be 3 days, 4 days, 5 days sometimes. But it's not a long time. But that's why Dustin and Rachel was saying you can start slow with this and build confidence up. So you're not like floating thousands and thousands of dollars at a time. Now, some people do that, but you start slow at this thing. And once you see it working, you're going to go, okay, like you build the faith and the confidence as you go. So you're not getting, over leveraged when it comes to how much money you're floating. But the nice thing is like, especially working with wholesalers, like this product's going to show up, it's going to be good quality. And you're going to get paid for those things. And even if you don't, you have so many other products going through at that point that those other products are going to pay for the one person that, ask for a refund, or the one product that gets lost in the mail every, 1,000 units. Like, it's just like this happens in e-commerce. These things do happen as part of the business, but your overall like profit that you're making covers those things by far.
Yes.
Michelle said, my first month I made $1,200. That's amazing. Second month made $4,000. You guys literally, like, there are not many opportunities like this where you can invest. I mean, like how much people are investing in college, you know what I mean? You don't just immediately get out of college and make the amount you invested in college like the month afterwards, right? This is a program you invest the amazing price we have today for you guys by going to 10min workday and using the code family22 for $500 off. And literally Michelle made that. She made more than that in her first month, and then 4,000 the next month, which is pretty amazing. That's super cool. Okay. We got a Canada question. I've seen a handful of these. There is a way to do this from Canada. But most people do leverage the USA marketplace because there's just more people. Like you guys saw the stats, there's way more people in the USA. There's one more hoop you have to jump through as a Canadian seller doing this, but Dustin and Rachel have a resource on how to do that. We have a rainmaker in our community, who's in both of our community, and she's drop shipping from who knows what country, Honduras. She's kind of all over the place. So she's created a resource guide on how to do that. There's just one more step you have to hop through when it comes to the type of business you have to have. But it is totally doable to be in another country, be making money in the US, totally remote. And a lot of people even do this while traveling remote. So it's totally doable.
Yeah, we do have Canadians in our mastermind. We partnered with Melissa because originally this business was created for a USA market, and so we partnered with her and brought her in. Her resource is available in our program. It's a $97 booklet that gives you like the step by step of everything that you need to do to be able to go as a person in Canada selling in the United States. So if that's you, there is a resource available for that. It's just one more step that you have to do.
Yeah. I see some questions about like profit margin and stuff. That one's common in the Amazon world too. And when you guys told me the number, I was like, what? I thought, so typically drop shipping has lower margins, right? But the way you guys have figured out how to do this, and because Facebook has really like, they have non-existent fees right now. And even when they do have fees, they're the lowest on the scale. What are the profit margins you guys are working with, like percentage wise?
Yeah. So if you are a drop shipper on eBay or these other platforms, it's not uncommon to see people doing 10% profit margin. In the Facebook world, people are between 30 to 60% profit margin. So you are in the upper level of profit in comparison with other e-commerce platforms, like Steven said, because this is new and there's still opportunity here, right?
Yeah, and that's pretty wild in the drop shipping world to have those types of margins. So when you guys are seeing some of these numbers, like Floor, the number you saw, like again, there's like so many case studies that I just was like, hey, we got to make this thing 90 minutes, right? So there's a bunch of case studies with Floor, like that number you saw, that was take home profit. Brandon, who I mentioned, 14,000, that was take home profit, like money in the bank. Ignacio, I don't know if that was gross revenue or profit, but do you know, Dustin?
His was gross revenue. Yeah.
So his was gross revenue.
In sales.
Okay. So yeah, I think 30 to 50% of that. I mean, that's still 30 to
his margins were over 50%.
50%. Wow.
Yeah.
$50,000, you guys, like that's insane to have a second source of income, bringing in $50,000 from literally your laptop internet connection and a pretty low capital intensive business. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So let me see any other questions. We keep going, you guys, with some questions. We just want to make sure, you guys, like anyone who's on the fence, who's like, oh, I feel like drawn to this, but I'm not sure, like that deep burning question, you're like, just, you almost be afraid to ask it, drop it in the chat. This is totally a safe place. We're going to make sure that we help you guys out. Cause sometimes there's people who are all in, they already jumped in. We see those people jumping into the 90 mastermind, and congratulations, you made an awesome choice. This is not just a course. It's not just a community. This is a pathway to financial freedom. And so I just want to congratulate you. There's people who are like, totally no, this is not for me. Like, it's not for me right now. And that's totally okay too. Like, that is totally fine. And those people may have hopped off the call, or maybe just here because you like hanging out, right? But either one of those, totally in or totally out, those are totally fine, because you guys are like, you're set on your decision. And I like that. What I want to help people with is the people that are like on the fence. They're like, I could go either way. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like, it's a timing thing. Maybe it's a money thing. And so if that's you, you're kind of like on the fence and you need to go like, I would love to not be on the fence. I want to either be a 100% no or 100% yes. Drop any questions you have in the chat. We'll spend some extra time doing these questions. We are through the content portion of the workshop. There will be a replay available up until that Friday time. So definitely go through it and go through those steps. However, if you have questions, we're here. It's better to do them live than, hope to get the question answered on the Facebook group later or wherever. So I see a question about business partners. Can I bring a business partner into this business? I think it's an awesome way to fund the business. If you are like $997 for this course, I'm not sure if I can do that. I bet you have friends and family that would want to make money online, but not do the work, right? And maybe you could bring on an investor who is your money person, right? And they fund the course and you give them a percentage of the sales. Now, I wouldn't give them 50% of the sales because you're doing a lot of the work. And they're just funding a tiny portion of that. You could make a lot of money with this, but maybe they make 10, 20% of the sales just by being your initial investor. And maybe you set that up for a term, right? So maybe you just go, hey, for 6 months, I'll give you 20% of the sales. Like, that'd be a good deal. And I bet a lot of people would trade money for that. So there are creative ways to finance this thing. People have been asking about payment plans. I see that as well. As of right now, There aren't payment plans. We just have that one-time payment. It's the lowest payment option we have. And if you can leverage credit or something like that, you can pay payment plans to the credit card company. And that's a way to break it up over time and pay for the business as you go. So someone was asking about multiple shops. What do you guys, have you seen that where people have multiple different shops, like different themes?
Yes, you can have an unlimited number of shops with Facebook Marketplace. Where some people get a little sideways is they think they can have unlimited business managers. You only want to have one business manager. That's what we showed you at the very, very, very beginning, how to set that up. But in terms of having shops itself, unlimited.
Awesome. I see Michelle said minus profit. Awesome. So she's making 4,000 a month profit. Michelle, it's amazing. I see questions about other expenses, like, again, like some of the things you guys recommend are not 100% required, like hiring a VA, but that's an expense that buys back your time and it's going to make you more money with it, So like what other kind of general expenses, you don't have to go into all the details, but what other expenses are people adding into the pot once they're making money?
It's really pretty affordable. I mean, a lot of businesses have, major overhead and stuff, but with this, I mean, the softwares that we recommend, if you combine the price of everything that you could possibly use, and you don't even have to use all of this, but like Shopify, I know they have like upper like tiers that you can pay for monthly to have a Shopify website for your hub, but you don't need those. Like just with their $29 a month plan, and they've got a free trial. So you can even just start out with that to where you get it set up during your free trial and then you just start making money. And then that's an asset, not a liability. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yes, so there's that. We're trying to give all the costs involved. We have a product research software. It's the only software that actually shows you what's selling on Facebook Marketplace. And that also has different tiers. I think it's like you can pay $59 a month. There's upper levels of like $79 a month. But again, that tool is not necessary to have success.
We have plenty of students who don't even use those kinds of tools. So
yep. And then there's like listing tools that can vary between like probably, I think it's $19 a month up to $99 a month. One thing that we have learned just by doing this, this is one, I believe, the most affordable business models to get into when you have low capital. Doesn't mean you're not going to have any costs, but those costs, like if you're spending, $100 a month to run a business, but you're making thousands of dollars, you're going to be happy to spend $100 to run that business. When you're hiring your VAs, when you're paying them $3 an hour, it doesn't mean they're working 8 hours a day. You could start off with just having them work an hour a day. And in the beginning, you might have to put that investment towards it before you start seeing the real reward. But if you're someone who wants to break that, wants to get into financial freedom, wants to break through that, those are some leaps that you just have to take. But what's so great about this business model is that these are like small leaps. You're not investing $10,000 into a product. We're talking about, $20 here and there in different programs, and you can choose which ones you want, which ones you don't want as your budget sees fit.
Yeah. Someone keeps asking about the hub, like Shopify, how much does the hub cost? Shopify has a free plan. And while you're learning, while you're going through this process, you don't need to pay for that stuff. Like you can get it into you first and then get signed up for their lowest tier, which I think is like $29 a month. And the way I look at it is it's like a machine. Like if I have to give Rachel $1, which we share bank accounts, right? But if I gave Rachel $1 and in exchange for giving her $1, she gave me $2, who got the better deal, right? I gave up money. Well, oh no, but she gave me more back, right? So that's how it works with this business. It's just a machine that you're running that.
Totally. Yeah. And again, like I've been the same way where I'm like, I need to know all the things. I wouldn't let that hold you back from this because like, go start a franchise, go start a CrossFit gym. Like there are hundreds of thousands of dollars of startup expenses and you may not see money for years. And that's traditional business. We don't live in we can work from the internet now. We can leverage these resources online. And so you don't need to just take these huge risks to start a franchise, to open up a gym, to buy real estate. Like even real estate, you guys, people are so about real estate, and like good returns on real estate properties are like not that great compared to the type of returns you can get online with e-commerce and just knowing how to connect the dots by being resourceful with some of these tools. So don't let a small wall hold you back from a big reward. And so that's what I'd say to you. I see a question here about how do I know? I saw a question Kelly had, and a couple people seconded it. about Wholesale Hub and like how much would I pay ahead for each product? Because I think the word wholesale, it makes people think about, oh, I have to order inventory, but these are wholesalers who are open to drop shipping. So you don't actually have to stock up on 15, 20, 30 units of the product in advance in hopes that it would sell. You know what I mean? These are wholesalers that say, hey, yeah, please promote my product wherever. I don't care. Right. And they're like, put it all over. So then when a sale comes in, same thing. You push the sale over to the wholesaler, they fulfill to the customer. So just one at a time. You're not having to commit to a product. Like there's actually no commitment to a product besides just the time of taking it and copying and pasting it to Facebook, which, I mean, how much time does it take? Like when you guys get good at this, like I know you guys don't do it anymore. You got a virtual assistant doing it for you, right? But when you did do it, how much time does it take to copy and paste a product from, a wholesaler to Facebook?
So our virtual assistant who's working for us now, I think she's up to, is it 5 minutes per listing?
5
Yeah.
minutes. Listing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
5 minutes per listing. And she's been doing it for a couple months. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, if you guys have questions and I'm not hitting them, repeat them in the chat because there are definitely a lot of things here. What do you have to do to get accepted as a drop shipper by a certain country? Doesn't have to be done with a catalog. Yeah. So if you are coming in from another country, you want to hop into the training, get into the resources when it comes to how to set up as someone who's selling from another country, because you'll have to wait to do the business setup portion of it until you have those things. But again, like I said, those are pretty easy hurdles to jump over. And there's other international people in the community you can band together with and get through that together. So it's not a huge hurdle, but there is that one more step you have to jump through. But I think it's worth jumping through the hoop to leverage the USA Marketplace. Now, if you have Facebook Marketplace in your country, you can do that, but it's pretty early. Like some of the features are still very early and most of them are in the USA. Isn't that right?
that's right. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, let's keep going down the questions here. Any advice for people that want to get started but cannot use credit? Okay, cannot use credit. I'll say a couple things, and if you guys have seen stores in your community, I would probably start eBay, PayPal, because PayPal is another payment platform that integrates with eBay. And so you could use eBay and then use PayPal to do the payments. That way you don't have to have credit, but I would work towards having some sort of credit source for this business. That way you're not held back for that. If you're talking about how to hop into this program at the price point we have, but can't use credit to do that, what I would encourage you to do, and this is something we teach in the Rainmaker world, is think, how can I instead? How can I? If you really just said like, I have to raise 997, my family's future depends on it, I have to do it this week, like you will come up with ways. And what we recommend doing if you are really hitting the wall with that, just grab a piece of paper and just write down everything you could do to make $1,000 this week. Like, just like go crazy, right? And you're just like, list crazy stuff, that stuff that you wouldn't even do. Just list, but just this creativity exercise, you start coming up with ways. And all of a sudden you get to like, try to do 100 ways. Okay. You get to like item 30 and it's like, boom, there's the idea. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. I do have a jet ski in the backyard I could totally sell, right? And you weren't thinking about that jet ski because it's been covered with a tarp and you don't see it every day, but you're like, oh my gosh, like about that jet ski forever gone. I never use it, right? Boom, sell that and you're into this program. So again, not everyone has a jet ski, but like just come up with this idea list and you'll find something. It could be something you sell. It could be selling you a service you do for someone. It could be something that already brings you income that you could do more of. It could be bringing on a partner who funds the business and then they make a percentage of your earnings. There are creative ways to do this thing. So think, how can I come up with some ideas and you can make this happen? Dustin, have you seen any creative ways people have gotten into the program, or even creative ways people have run the business without credit?
Having cash flow is like one of the biggest things with an e-commerce business. So it's impossible for you to have an e-commerce business and just completely skip over the cash flow part of it, right? You have to be able to basically what Rachel said, float money. It just means you have to be able to cover a cost for like a week or two. Facebook pays you and then the money's all back in your account plus your profit, right? So, that's why we like using credit cards, because you get the reward points from that. So not only are you not using your money, you're using someone else's money. And then you're also getting paid to use their money because you use their credit card points. And it's amazing, right? I mean, we literally paid for Christmas a couple of years ago just from our credit card points from running this business. So it's
The
like,
credit card points. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. We just had someone on our podcast. It's not out yet, but they're called the Travel Hacking Moms, and they do this. They just help people rack up crazy credit card points. And the best way to do that is owning a business, because a lot of these credit card companies, they have these bonuses. You sign up, you get 100,000 miles, and like literally you'll be running the business from the credit card. Again, this isn't credit that you don't have. This is credit that people are paying you to pay off, you know? And so you're building an asset, people are paying you to do it. It's kind of like when you buy a house and you have renters in the house, like an investment property, and you have a mortgage, and that feels like debt. But you have renters who are paying the mortgage for you. So if you're paying $1,500 a month for a mortgage, but then the renters are paying you $2,000, like you're getting free real estate. They're paying down the mortgage over time, and you're getting paid to own this real estate. Same thing here. You're getting paid to build a business asset, like virtual real estate on the internet that you can actually sell, which is pretty crazy. Okay, someone asked, do you need to start another Facebook account?
No, you can use your same Facebook. And like I said earlier, Facebook's not going to broadcast to all your friends that you have a shop. If you want to share that with your friends, you can. So no, you can use your same Facebook profile. You can create another one. But no, you don't need to have a second one.
What about, someone asked about pod products? That's print on demand, like t-shirts, that type of thing. Can you do that type of thing on this?
Yeah, print on demand is an amazing way to make money with this. We've got a member who has taken a deep dive into that. And he connected his Printify account with the hub, with Shopify, and it was just instant. Like instantly, he had hundreds of products that were in his Facebook shop because of that direct automated connection. And so, yeah, you can totally do that. It's a great way to do it.
That's super cool. Now, Megan asked this question, and I guess we didn't even touch on this, but like she said, I'm going to use this to build my actual business, my physical business, right? And so if you guys already have a business, if you already have an Amazon account, this is an amazing way to increase the value of that business and bring an additional source of income into it. We're seeing Amazon sellers right now. So we teach people to launch products on Amazon, use that as their traffic source. We serve people who are doing that, build this on the side and actually use it to sell more of their Amazon products. Like Dustin said, 46% of e-commerce people are moving to multi-channel, not just having all their eggs in the Amazon basket. They're putting it over here on Facebook where you can get free traffic right now, right? So they're doing that. And then reverse, some Amazon sellers are using this to do market research, figure out what's selling, figure out what are people liking, test different variations. Then once they've proven that concept, they'll move over to Amazon where, they can sell it at a higher price point and have even bigger margins, right? So we've seen it go both ways where people are doing a hybrid. We've also seen people use Facebook shops to build a business onto their current business. If they're already in a certain niche, they're already doing a certain thing for business. Is there a Facebook shop you could build that complements that thing? And that you could, this is the crazy part, you guys, you can communicate with every one of those customers. So let's say you sell, let's say, I'm just going to go with the CrossFit gym example. Okay. My friend owns a CrossFit gym. Let's say he owns a CrossFit gym. He could start a Facebook shop that sells CrossFit equipment and workout equipment. And then every time someone buys one of those products, he could say, hey, also in my CrossFit gym, I do online coaching over here. Would you like to hear more about that? And he could funnel people from his customers over here into here. People pay tons of money on Facebook ads just to bring people over here when he can get his customers for free just by selling them products that get them to raise their hand and say, I'm your customer, right? So there's a bigger strategy here you can definitely think about. If you're a higher level business owner, you want to go that route, there's a lot of potential there for that. And that's why I'm getting into this, is because we're building shops to drive traffic to other things, which is really fun. The income's great, but we got other things. We got, our program, we have, our own e-commerce businesses. So we're using shops to drive traffic to those things on the back end. All right. Other questions? Again, we're done with the workshop officially, but if you want to hang out and do questions, I know people are dropping off, but we want to make sure we're answering all those questions. There will be a replay up. The link again is 10min workday, 10min workday.com. Use the savings code family22, all caps, for $500 off. That code is good tonight, tomorrow, up until Friday. Then the price goes back up. That's a special, just Rainmaker exclusive. If you're getting in on this workshop, that's just for you guys. Okay. All right. So is this replay going to be available? Yes. To show my husband, he missed the beginning, but he's definitely interested. Yes, Jennifer. We will email out the replay tomorrow. I think it has to load and upload. And so tomorrow we'll email out the replay to everyone on our email list, and you should get that. So can you build an email list with this too? Celine asked. Ooh, it's thinking big.
Yes, you
build
can.
An email list.
Guys,
Yes.
the tools that Facebook makes available are just mind blowing. Like I've been so far down the rabbit hole that I thought I'd never come back. They give you the ability to do all kinds of stuff, and email list is just one of them. You can have it set up to where anyone who buys from your shop, they have the option to get onto your email list, and then you have just another way of marketing to your customers.
Okay. I have one more question here. Dustin, I sent you a secret message.
Oh, secret.
I didn't want to say it because Dustin's in charge of this one. I didn't want to say it in case it's a surprise. Let me keep going though while he's reading that. Okay. Yeah, good luck. It's in the chat somewhere.
Okay.
Build an email list. Selling 10-minute.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good question, Steve. I got
Forget
it.
about that. Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing.
Okay, I'll let you say it.
Okay. So fast action bonus, guys. For anyone who signs up in the next 24 hours, now Rachel and I have additional training that we're going to throw in here for you as well. And that is going to be on high ticket drop shipping. So if you specifically want to go for high dollar products, I'm talking $1,000 through $2,000, $3,000 to where you only need to make one sale a week, or just a couple sales a week. And like that's something that you're not having to like have as much value, not as many orders, not as many customer inquiries, things like that. We will include that training for you for signing up with this program. That is not created yet. So that is something that we are developing right now. And when it becomes available, we will include that with this program.
Awesome.
Right. And then also one thing I'll throw in here, I'm probably going to totally kill myself later for doing this, guys, but I know there's some guys that people are like on the fence about this right now. And just to like show you, like Rachel and I are confident in this system. We're going to throw in a little bit of a guarantee for you here. So if at the end of 90 days, you followed this process, like you have gone through, I should probably pull it up in writing because I'm just going to trip over my words here. So you completed the program, you followed all the action steps that we give you in here. And if during the end of the 90 days, you've done the things, right? You can't just show up here, watch some videos and not take action. That this is not going to work for you. But if you've done the steps, you completed them, and then you still haven't gotten momentum at the end of 90 days, I will personally hop on a one-on-one call with you and help you figure out what you need to do to get your trajectory back up in your business. Now, I charge $1,000 an hour for my time. I highly value my time, but I'm confident that this is something that if you guys put in the work, you can make this work. So I'm going to throw that guarantee in for you guys on this call.
Woo, that's good. So good. Oh man, I knew you guys were cooking up some guarantee like that because I was like, I get it. Like it takes faith to step into something like this. There's a lot of shady stuff on the internet that, is fake gurus and hype and all these things. But if you guys are seeing this workshop, you're part of our Rainmaker community. You know our heart. You've seen the case studies. Now we have thousands of people that have gone through similar programs like this, like ours, that are seeing the results, are seeing the fruit, right? It's not hey, sign up and then 90 days from now when it's like, you can't sign up and then do no work. And then 90 days from now, Dustin's going to hop on a call with you. You have to sign up and you just have to follow the course. If you follow the course, this process works. If you hop on the training calls, when you hit any walls, you're going to get help. You get to the end of the 90 days, he's there to help support you. Hop on a personal one-on-one, pull up your shop, take a look at it and be like, oh, just click the red button. You'll be fine, right? Like sometimes it's like a little thing like that. And then it starts working again, right? So that's a crazy guarantee. I know, Dustin, you can't do that forever. As this thing grows, like, you definitely can't do that forever. But I do know, like, we've done similar stuff like that with our Rainmakers. And I used to have a guarantee like this. I think we did like 4 calls ever, and typically it was a one small tweak that was just like, oh, we just missed this one lesson. Just do this one thing and I'll start going. So 10manworkday.com, use savings code family22. I keep saying it just because people are coming in late. That's totally fine. After the 90 days, it's a month-to-month thing, right? Like, so after the 90 days, again, the goal is that they're not building a crutch that you got to lean on forever, right? You're learning a skill set that you're mastering and you feel like you can run after that. But if you do want to you want to stay a part of that community, and get the community access. Again, you get the lifetime access to the course and all those things. You want to stay in touch with the community though, and just, be a part of the community, there's a way to pay month to month. Is that right?
Right. If you get into the training program, you'll see in the first like couple lessons of the training, there's a link where you can go. If you have had your 90 days expire and you want to extend it, you can. Do not click that button. Like you have that included with you already for these 90 days. But if that expires, and with some people, they're doing well in their business, they're like, I just love having that personalized support for my business. Always got backup. Then that's available for you. But that's totally optional. We made this 90 days for a reason, guys. Like we didn't want to have to charge $2,500, even $3,000 for this program. We wanted to have this set up in a time frame where people can see results. And if you want to extend that farther, then you can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And extending access to that course is not $997 divided by 3 months. Like
exactly. Yeah, it's a $97 per month. And included in that is all of this stuff that you're getting with the weekly coaching calls, the mastermind community, our support email, 24/7 access to all those things, collaboration with other sellers. Like you can continue that for only $97 a month after the 90 days, which I don't want people to be in my program forever. Like I want to see you guys get results fast, go out and make a ton of money. Because we're trying to teach people how to think and stand on their own feet and not be completely dependent on someone like me for all the answers, right? Because you can do this. This is something that you can do. So that's something that's available as needed.
That's super cool. Yeah, a lot of people like to worry about problems they don't have yet. So if you're worried about 97 a month, don't worry. You're not going to have that problem, first of all. And you can cross that bridge when you get there. But I'm like, the goal is people that are renewing typically are going to be making money. If you're not making money, Dustin's getting on a call with you one-on-one to go, hey, let's help you make some money, right? So if someone asking what's the deliver, like what is that group? It's a Facebook group right now. Facebook community, is that right? Facebook community group. And so it'll be a separate Facebook group. Rainmakers, we have our own groups for more Amazon specific stuff. We've kind of combined these two in the past. And for this one specifically, we're like, it needs to be a separate group so that it can be really focused. When you're ready to work on this business, you go into that group. If you're in our Amazon program, you come into our group. And that way it keeps your mental game separate. You're not just bouncing all over the place on Facebook. I know sometimes for me, like when I'm like going to Facebook for training, I gotta stay focused because there's a lot of distractions on Facebook, right? And so what I'd recommend is just bookmarking this page. Have you guys ever done this where you pull up Facebook to do one thing and then like all of a sudden you're scrolling for 30 minutes? You're like, what did I come here to do? I like to bookmark these pages. So I just go straight to the group, right? I just like skip the feed. I want to see the drama. I don't want to see my friend's new baby yet. I'm going straight to the group because it's learning mode. I got 30 minutes. I want to dive in. And so I would recommend doing that. Just bookmark the group. That's where the community happens. And then bookmark the training portal. That's where you have the step-by-step videos that you can start working through as soon as you're onboarded into this. Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So can you clarify for me one more time? If I sign up today, what's a safe amount to expect to need to spend on the business in the next little bit?
Yeah, it just depends on the strategy that you take. If you're just going with a copy paste listing, the basics that we shared at the beginning of this program, then you could do that for free. We don't recommend that because it's time consuming. So, I mean, I think Z dropped the program, one of the programs, there's many programs we have, but that are available to speed that up. But it's like, I think 12 or 15 bucks a month or something like that. If you're going to go on the higher end, which we recommend, and that's getting to the hub and, the pinball machine and getting all your products all over the internet, then less than 100, I'd say. I haven't done the math recently, so I want to be honest with you, but like Shopify, it's like $29 a month once you are ready to start selling. Right. And then I think there's like a couple other apps you can integrate with that, but all said and done, like, we're talking maybe $100 a month. I mean, ballpark that you could potentially do. So,
yeah. At that point, I mean, like you said, you could do a lot of free trials. You can use that as pressure to create the stuff. You could be banking $100 a day and paying $100 a month in business expenses. So it's not much.
Yeah.
Cheryl was asking,
guys, it's like this whole pinball machine thing. Like you don't have to build an entire pinball machine. You can build half a pinball machine and then just use that traffic to generate sales to your Facebook shop. So you're not using all the stuff. It's not
like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I guess the pinball machine is a good example. Yeah, like it's totally customizable based on your own personal kind of preferences, investment, comfortability. But on the relative scale of business opportunities, this is super low investment, like super low investment. And with e-commerce, you don't really get that anywhere else, unless you're just trying the old school drop shipping method, which promises low investment but ends up producing no return. Unlike this, which is really the new method. Awesome. So still unclear if I'm paying up front to cover orders that come in through the wholesale hub, and you get paid out once about a week later. Yeah. So you do pay up front for those wholesale orders, that come in. So like I list a product for $20 on Facebook, an order comes in, I go buy it for $10. So I am out the $10, but the $20 are being held in the bank, in the Facebook bank. And then that gets released to me like 3 days later. So you have this 3-day window of floating the money. So what you'd want to do if cash flow is really tight and credit's really tight, don't go listing like 100,000 items on your Facebook, right?
Yeah, we recommend don't list products any more than you're willing to swallow if you have to, right? I mean, that rarely happens, but just start with what you can do.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. What's the resource list? It's hard to read. What is there a resource list of products that just sell really well? Is that within the training program?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, home decor is probably one of the top sellers on Facebook right now. But there's a lot of other categories of things, and seasonally it changes too. Obviously, right now it's pool stuff or whatever. Come November, December, it'll be Christmas. So that is dynamic. But as a whole, home decor is the number one category.
Nice. Tambra said, "I just purchased." Awesome job, Tambra. The email link went to the sales page though, not the login page. I think there's like 2 emails that come, so keep an eye out. There's like a second email because
you need to look for that second email. And if you have problems, do what you just did. Let us know. You can email into us. Our support email will be included in there as well, and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah. What is the support email, by the way?
Well, we keep the support email for people in our mastermind because, we want to.
This isn't for coaching questions, but if someone is like, I am 100% ready to buy, I just got this one last burning question.
Okay.
I would say in that case, email, and you can find it somewhere on the website. But this isn't like free coaching. It's like, we do the same thing with Rainmakers.
Right. If you have a question about joining the program, that's fine. We're happy to help. But if you're trying to get free advice for your own thing, then, that's not what we do. So the email address is support@10minwork.day. Don't forget the .day. Usually it's .com, but it's actually .day. So that's the email address. It's support@10minwork.day. And that's for membership and billing questions only.
Cool. That's a good way to clarify it. Yeah. So again, these guys, their family run business. They got kids. They got one on the way. It's a lean team. So don't just go emailing them 1,000 questions. Really, that's just for people who are like, I have $996 and do you have the payment plan for the $1? It's like, just like you're about to join and you just had that one last burning question. That's totally fine. But definitely make sure if you came on late or something like this, watch the replay before doing that. Save them some time because I know how it is having a pretty lean team. And they're also onboarding a bunch of people right now into the program and want to serve them at the highest level as well. So
yeah. And if you guys, I see a couple people here that are saying they're clicking the button and it's just going to a sales page. If that's happening to you, hang tight for maybe 30 minutes. Because after this call, I'm going to get on, I'm going to see who signed up. I'm going to manually add anyone that needs to be added to the Scale Up challenges or Scale Up Master class as well. And then over the course of the next, 24 hours, Rachel and I are going to, send you messages and help get you onboarded after you request access to the Facebook group.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. When we've done pushes like this, I'll typically do that too. I'll send out even just an email blast to everyone who signed up tomorrow or something, just being just in case you missed it. Because sometimes emails go to spam and stuff too. So if you do sign up, definitely check your spam folder, that type of thing. And then whitelist the email, when they email you. I know you guys don't send out a million emails. Most of the communication is going to happen inside the Facebook group, but it is good to kind of add that email to your contacts, make sure it is showing up in your inbox. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Dustin, are you doing okay? Can we keep going with questions?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. We'll keep going with questions, you guys, just because I know how it is. There's an opportunity here. Some people are still on the fence. If you're still on the fence, you're not 100% yes, not 100% no, you still have questions. Let's keep going just a little bit longer. Then Dustin's going to go and get everyone into the like on board and all those things over the next couple of days. Tammy is asking about business partners. Like, she has a business partner that'll be working in the business with her. Can they come to the training? How does that work?
Yeah, our policy is if you have a business partner, just send us a screenshot of whatever government document you have that shows that they are a part of your business. It's not just your neighbor or someone else, But if it's truly a business partner, then absolutely, by all means, we will give them their own separate course logins. They have access to all the resources.
Nice. Nicole said, "I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to sign up after I feed the child." That's awesome. Priorities is good. Hey, family first.
Right. That's right.
Feed the child. If you guys need to feed your kids before signing up, that's okay.
This page will be here long enough for that, guys.
How do you plan ahead for the business? It's more of a strategy call, but do you plan about like seasonal things or holidays, that type of thing? Do you see people doing that in the program?
Great question. It's good to start a month in advance. So if you know that, Christmas items are coming up, Halloween items are coming up, a month before people start putting that out there, list out to your shop, because you're gonna be able to gain traction before some of those other sellers. Most people don't even think to list products like this until they see stuff come up in, Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. So if you just a little bit of the ball, you're gonna be able to get more traffic that way.
Nice. Cheryl was asking if we'll have support through the Rainmaker community as well. This workshop we did send out to people who are within our community groups, as well as our email list. So if you're in one of our Facebook groups, there's of course a ton of people in our community doing this. So if you post a question there, you're probably going to get feedback, but you're going to get the best feedback inside of the dedicated community that's devoted to just that Rachel and Dustin run and they manage. They're not really going and looking in our group as much for questions there. However, we do have a lot of people in our program that are doing this right now. So yes, you can definitely find support there inside of our community. But we would recommend for fastest, best, most updated support, go to Dustin and Rachel's community.
That's right.
Awesome. Yeah, we bought our Halloween costumes off Facebook Marketplace last year, and then we never ended up wearing them. We bought like the Incredibles costumes off Facebook Marketplace. We thought that'd be hilarious. And then we're like, we do it just for the photo for social media. We never ended up putting on those costumes. It was just a busy season. So maybe this year you guys will see us as Incredibles.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Can you sell one thing and then change to a completely different thing? Like you're selling home decor and then you want to shift to dog products or whatever. Like, can you bounce around until you figure out what works for you?
Absolutely. That's one reason why we recommend to start with a general shop, because sometimes in business, like you have the capability of letting money make decisions for you. Like Rachel and I, we have our own like rock climbing brand. Before we did product research and found out that there was a demand on Amazon FBA for selling rock climbing stuff, we rock climb, but we weren't like diehards. And so like sometimes like you can see opportunities and it gives you an idea and you're like, oh, I should be interested in that. And all of a sudden you realize, hey, this is my thing, So you can allow the money to make decisions for you in that way. If you go with a general store, absolutely. If you want to change products, you can have multiple shops selling different niches of things.
Yeah. Jacqueline asked a question, so maybe she has more experience with this, but when people do retail drop shipping, typically the tracking codes get a little messy, The cool thing with wholesaling, which you guys are teaching with the scale up strategy, which is included with the course, you get legit tracking codes that will also connect to the customers on Facebook. So if the person on Facebook is looking for a tracking code, they actually can have one and see where the package is shipping, and there's no hangups there. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, it brings the customer service to another level, because most people drop shipping on Facebook are using fake tracking numbers just so to force Facebook to pay them. These are legit tracking numbers, and so the customer support level is much higher.
And then for Misi's question, are we physically touching the product at all? Does it get shipped back? Does it get shipped straight to the customer? And the answer is no, you're not touching the product at all. The only thing you're touching is your laptop or your computer, and the product's going straight from the supplier or the wholesaler to the customer. Now, in the case that there's a return, typically it's going to go back to the wholesaler. But there is a rare case where it's going to come back to you and then you'll return to the wholesaler. or you'll just have to like sell it on local Facebook marketplace or liquidate it, just throw it away. I mean, like I would like to donate it. I would probably donate it to somewhere locally. But that is a cost of doing the business, and returns do happen, but they are very, very, very minimal, especially with this business. So don't be
especially when you have it automated. For me personally, I mean, everyone has a different perspective, but I love getting returns because like usually they'll just go straight to my supplier, but sometimes I'll have a supplier where I have to send it to my house and it's like Christmas. Also, I'll get a package. It's like, oh, what did someone return? I can use this now,
We have a VA running one of our wholesale businesses, and like we get because like I'm like pretty hands off on this business at this point. Like it's very passive. We'll get returns in the mail. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know we sold that. Like I got like a stovetop burner the other day. I was like, I thought we were selling crafts, and like we're getting like these random things in the mail, and I just think it's hilarious. And we'll typically donate it. We just take it, take it to Salvation Army, or we got a bunch of baby toys, which is this like women's resource clinic in our area. It was really cool to just be like, hey, here's a bunch of free toys for you guys. And so if you guys like giving, it's a cool way to give back. And again, like you have really good margins on the business. So it's not killing your margins to just, have a couple returns here and there. So hopefully that answers that question. Let me see. I'm going up here. Of course, there's another question about time frame. So I hit it again. You have lifetime access to the course, the training portal, the step-by-step videos, and updates that happen to that course. And then the community access, which is the group coaching, the wave of people going through it together, a Facebook group you can post questions on. That's the 90-day sprint. And this really just help you focus for 90 days, get set up. And then you have the course access to reference later on. At that point, you should have pretty much mastered the system. You may not even have to revisit the course, but it's there for you. If 120 days from now, you want to go, oh, what was that one video? You have it there for you.
Yeah.
Darren said, I'm in. Can't wait to get started. Welcome, Darren. Proud of you. All right.
I see a question from Stephanie. A lot of questions come in about the hub and Shopify. Shopify is the hub. So we just call it the hub because we don't want to confuse people with Shopify dropshipping. This is not Shopify dropshipping. Could you potentially use your hub as a Shopify dropshipping site? Sure, but that's not what we teach. We want people checking out on our Facebook website because of the low costs and the better user experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about customer communication? I know you guys have a virtual assistant now that does all that. At the beginning when people are starting, you might be doing some of the customer communication. Do you guys have scripts or anything that's going to help them like systematize or streamline that process?
Yes, we do. Those are all in the program, included in the training course for the virtual assistants. If you are going to go with the higher ticket drop shipping, which we're only including that for somebody who goes and signs up in the next 24 hours, then you may choose to not use a virtual assistant because you're going to have fewer inquiries and you're going to make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a sale, and then it's more worth your time, right? But for the most part, anything less than that, we recommend just using a virtual assistant. Save your time, keep it automated.
Yep, that's awesome. We have a friend doing that high ticket drop shipping, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, he sells sheds, and right now he gets traffic off of Craigslist, right? Because free traffic. But I feel like if he jumped in his Facebook marketplace thing, his business would it would go crazy because all he's doing is trying to get these sheds in front of the right buyer, and the right buyer will pay $10,000, $20,000 for these sheds. And he has a supplier, wholesaler, who he buys them wholesale from. They'll handle delivery. They'll handle logistics. All he has to do is make the sale, and then he's hands off and he gets paid. And so people are doing tiny houses. They're doing sheds. They're doing it's pretty crazy what you can drop ship in this high ticket drop shipping world. Again, we don't recommend you start there. Okay. You got to build up some authority, build, the system. But for people who do hop in the next 24 hours, Dustin will pull that list of names and you'll get that course added. That's going to be an additional thing they're building right now in the future. And probably an additional, it'll be a product that people can buy later in the future, but you get free access to that included for the more advanced sellers who want that if you hop in the next 24 hours.
Correct. Awesome.
Someone asked about Pod. Yes, you can do Pod. So Pod is print on demand. You can do Pod through Facebook Shops. A bunch of people are doing stickers right now, T-shirts, that type of thing. Of course, you want to still use what's taught in the course to make sure it's a good fit. But the nice thing about Pod, similarly, you don't need to have a ton of investment except your time to set it up. So very cool. All right. Any requirements to start working with wholesalers rather than regular set like retail? Are there any like hoops you have to jump through with the wholesalers?
You'll have to just apply for a wholesale account, provide them your business information, your information. Usually they want to see a website, which that's already done. You know, you've already set up your hub so they can go there, see what they want to see, and then you just get an account open with them.
Nice. That's awesome. Do all your customers give you their email address and shipping addresses?
Facebook provides the option that if you set that email marketing feature up, that they can opt in. And so like one of our students, she's amassed like thousands of people on her email list. And that's just from people buying, $20, $30 items on her shop.
That's amazing. So if you were launching products to a similar niche, right, you could email. Is Facebook letting you do that now? Like sending them email?
They're your emails.
Wow.
So you can build your own email list and market even off of Facebook's platform. They're totally in
That's
support of that.
amazing. That's amazing. So if you, let's say, find a niche you really like, you're selling stuff in that niche and you have another hot seller, there's a holiday coming up. Hey, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Valentine's Day. Hey, it's Tuesday, whatever, Taco Tuesday, make up a holiday. You can email that list and get a quick infusion of cash by emailing people that are similar buyers, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Stacy, I don't know about that one. Crystals, metaphysical stuff. I think that's allowed on Facebook. I feel like I've seen that on there. There's certain categories you can't sell, and I believe their course covers that. There's of course like weapons. You can't sell weapons. You can't sell live animals. I tried to sell a goldfish on Facebook and they're like, nope, you can't do that. I just going to get rid of the goldfish. But you can't do that. I had to donate it. So there's certain things you can't sell and you learn that when you get into it. But I think those items are fine on.
Yeah. Certain categories of items are more difficult, would be like supplements. If you sell supplements or something like that, like medical things. Like Steven said, animals. Anything.
I'm trying to sell their dad's mounted coyote. And they got restricted.
I remember when we first started, I listed a really cool pocket knife that had like an American flag on it. And it like somehow the algorithm didn't catch it right away. And I sold like 20 of those within like 13 minutes. But then it like flagged as like, no, you can't sell weapons.
You can't sell weapons. You can only get away with it for a little bit. Someone asked about Costco. Does anyone use Costco as a supplier for like the retail side?
Yep.
Costco's got pretty fast shipping too. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie was asking if you teach email marketing. I don't believe that is covered, but it's not really needed.
Right. Yeah. This is not an email marketing course, but we'll show you like if you're wanting to set that up, at least how to get that rolling.
Yeah. Jennifer's asking, can I use multiple credit cards for payment? I believe they can set that up. It would have to be custom though. So just email in that email. I thought I had it. Support
at 10minwork.day and let us know.
Just let them know, hey, I want to split the 997 onto 2 cards. And you guys could set up a custom Stripe thing, I'm sure. It's a little bit more like manual work. So just give them some patience as you email in. But how about this, Dustin? If you are like that person, you got to put it between 2 cards and they email in within the 24 hours, will they still qualify for the bonus?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Even if the email takes like a little bit longer to get back to you, but
yes.
Cool. Nice. I just worked you guys a deal right there live. Okay. Any other burning questions, you guys? Thank you, Dustin, for going long marathon. I know. But I'm so excited about this. Like in Rainmakers, our vision, like we've been really leaning into Amazon. We've been really leaning into like fast paths to great wealth for you guys. And this is another one of those ways. We're very selective with what type of opportunities we bring to the Rainmaker family community. We want to make sure it has financial freedom elements to it. We want to make sure it gives you a lot of leverage. We want to make sure it has time freedom, right? It can be made passive. And they've really figured this out. They pioneered this thing. They've gone through ups and downs. And a lot of people who have been in this world have hit walls and quit. And these guys have not. They've powered through. They've hired support. They've hired Facebook experts who aren't even drop shippers to be like, tell us more about Facebook. Let's dive deep just to figure out some of the stuff we taught on this workshop on how to do the catalog before the other thing. And those are tips that no one else knows. And then the deeper strategy, the bigger strategy of let's go beyond just marketplace. Facebook has this huge ecosystem. Let's leverage the huge ecosystem as Facebook leans into meta, like the whole metaverse. Like I can't even imagine the future of this when there's virtual shopping in the metaverse and all these products are bouncing around in the metaverse. That's going to be crazy. And so if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be like Amazon and Facebook. These are the two pioneers in these online spaces who really scoop up companies. They pioneer, they move forward really fast. And so you can be on the front wave of one of these things by hopping into these programs. So thank you guys for being here. Any last burning questions before we end the call?
Someone asked, does a Mac or a PC work best? Rachel uses a PC. I'm on a Mac right now, so totally irrelevant. You can use whichever one you like.
Yep. Are there any time frames that have to be fulfilled for the shipping? Like, do you have to it has to ship within a certain amount of days?
Yep. You want to have anything that's going to be shipped within 3 to 7 days. And there's going to be like 3 days of handling time included. So from the time the customer orders to the time it arrives at the doorstep needs to be within 10 days.
Nice. Kimberly said, should I make a business name that has to do with what I want to sell, like Cats R Us? And I'd say probably no, because you don't know what you're going to sell yet. So I would just make something a little more broad, and you can always change it later. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And then how do the funds work when there's a return and use a credit card?
So any returns, like if you sell a product through Facebook and someone processes a return through Facebook, well, then that money will go from Facebook back to that customer. In terms of like the supplier, you're the one who bought the product from the supplier. So if your supplier has a policy where you can return to them, then you'll just, hit up your supplier, let them know I got a return, send it over to them, and then they'll pay you back on the same payment method.
Nice. Jenny asked, this is funny. For seasonals, do you take the listing down out when the season's over? And I'll tell you personally, just from watching this happen in our group, we've seen people sell Christmas stuff like all year long. Like people sell Christmas stuff in July. It's so funny. Like I don't know, people buy it because they just see it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a deal. So I don't know. I would probably take the seasonal listings down, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it sometimes. Like Christmas lights, any time of the year are selling. It's funny. Yeah.
Heck, you can even build a shop that's just Christmas stuff. And you're just going to plan that shop's probably just going to sell during that time of year. But if you're doing that, you've got a sales channel where it's like you're totally speaking to your customer now, right? So yeah, you can definitely do that.
All right. I'm selling Halloween Thanksgiving decor right now. That's awesome. Michelle's selling Halloween stuff already. That's amazing.
Wow.
People are planning very early. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. How many listings are usually in a shop? That could vary.
That depends on which strategy you're taking. So if you're going to do just retail drop shipping, you're going to have to list a lot more products. So and we always want to have people using virtual assistants for this as much as possible, because you could take a lot of time just copying and pasting listings, right? It'd get boring. But usually I like to see a few thousand products if you're just going with a retail drop shipper and you're at a disadvantage, right? Because you're retail drop shipping. So you have to have a lot more stuff to throw spaghetti on the wall to get sales, right? If you're going with the scale up method, then you're not going to need that many listings. The example I showed you earlier, $16,000 on that one shop, 150 listings. So you don't have to have thousands and thousands of listings. And then especially if you get into high ticket drop shipping, man, you might only have a dozen products in your shop. So it just depends on which strategy you're taking.
That's awesome. And isn't there, I wasn't sure about this, so I don't want to answer it, but isn't there like a vacation mode or something where you can like pause your shop?
The best thing to do for shops is just to mark everything is out of stock. Okay. and then people won't be able to buy. So that's all you got to do.
If you want to take a break, you're like, hey, I'm traveling, I can't ship stuff. But again, like they're going to teach you how to have a virtual assistant. So you don't have to take a break, or you can take a break, but the business can keep running. This is the key thing. You don't want a business that owns you, where it's like, it requires your time. Now this one does to set up, but you can have virtual assistants that get in there that start to work for you. So if you want to take time off, take time off. It's going to keep running. Like I would definitely make that a goal within the 9 days to like, get the virtual assistant in there so that you can take time off and this thing runs without you. Like that is such a sweet feeling to like be making money on the beach or while traveling or whatever you're doing. It's amazing. So, all right.
I think the questions are starting to slow down, Stephen.
I think so.
Call, guys, you got any questions? Throw them in.
Joe Lyons asked, where do babies come from? I think with that, we should probably end.
My kids aren't old enough for me
where
to
did baby
have
come
that
from? So good. I love it. Well, it's been so fun hanging out with you all. You guys are the awesome ones who stuck around to the end. We just want to make sure we were over delivering outside the 90-day workshop or 90-minute workshop to make sure answering any questions you have. Again, take action on this, whether you're just taking action on step 1 and 2 that they showed in this video, where you could just pause and set up your shop and get started with the markup method and start trying this thing out. Or if you're ready to go to the next level, you want to go faster, you want it to be easier, you want some hand holding in the process, 90 days to creating a source of income for your family, I would highly recommend jumping in. So 10minworkday.com, 10minworkday.com, use savings code family22 for $500 off the program. Again, that code is up this week only, and then it comes down at the end of the week on Friday. All right. So the replay will also be up until that point. And so we do take the replay down. It just gives people healthy pressure to watch it, to get through it. This will be a paid workshop that we promote elsewhere. But if you're seeing it now, you're getting free access. And so I would definitely watch the replay. If you need to, watch it with whoever's in your life who is going to be partnering with you on the business or supporting it. And then find a way to get into this thing. 997, you can do this. How can I mindset? Figure out a way to sell stuff, to do what you're already doing more, to, borrow from a friend, like whatever it needs to take to get into this thing. And I'm so excited to run with you guys. Like, we joined this program as well, and we're going to be building this on the side with our Amazon business, with all the other stuff we have going on. Get a virtual assistant in there, get it automated, get it hands off. I'm all about multiple sources of income. So let's do it. All right. Thank you, Dustin. Big round of applause from everybody for Dustin and Rachel. If you're connected to any of our communities, of course, you can post future questions in our Facebook community group. It's the Rainmaker Family Group on Facebook. You can always post questions there. We'll keep an eye out for those. If you have questions about joining the program, like you're like, I just need a payment plan. I just need I need to split the payments between 2. We don't have a payment plan set up right now, but if you need to split between 2 credit cards or some other logistic, you can definitely email in. But I'm so proud of you all for being here, for taking action on this thing. And I'm so excited to see 90 days from now, the crazy stories that come out from this thing. It's going to be so awesome. So thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, absolutely. I see more questions coming in, but these questions I'm seeing were already answered. So just go back and watch the replay of this video, and we should have that covered for you guys.
Cool. We'll be emailing out the replay to our whole email list within 24 hours. So you can also click on the link that you use to register for this email or for this workshop. That same link, we're going to redirect it to the replay within 2 hours from now, whenever it uploads. So whatever link you click to register to get here, it's already in your email. Click that link again. It'll go to the replay page in about a couple hours. So you guys can go through that again if you need to, pause it, take action, and get in this program. All right. Talk to you all soon. All right. 10minworkday.com. The code is family22. All caps family22 for $500 off. And we'll see you guys inside the Shop Secrets Academy. All right. Bye.
Thank you, Stephen.